Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, friends. I don't know, is it this thing? There's some shadows happening, and not just the one on the sofa. How's it going? Sorry it's a little bit late. I'm just, I don't know. I'm just not moving as quickly right now. It was like not a busy day. I guess busy from my standards. So then, the pull of the sofa was too strong and I was just like vibing out. And then I looked at the clock and was like, shit, I better set up for stream. But it's okay. We're here now. The doggy's actually on this side of the sofa, so I'm not even sure if you can really see him. Should we move this a little bit? Yeah? Can you see him? There he is. Oh, hello. He might move later, but we'll keep it like this for now. And then, I'm sure he'll get up and move, and then we'll move it again. Okay, yeah, I still don't. Here, let me see. I keep myself on the tiniest little screen, so I don't know. I think, is it this that the shadow is? Because I'm trying to, who cares? Who cares? We're trying to light the craft. We're trying to light the artwork. That's what we're trying to do today. But yes, hello. How are things? It's muggy and miserable and rainy as fuck outside. Luckily, though, I had to leave the house twice today. I know. Such a burden. But luckily, the 2 times I had to venture out of the house, it was like lightly raining and the wind had died down, so it was like, in terms of shit weather, it was like the best version of the shit weather I could get. But yeah, so we are continuing our cross stitch. We're continuing our Phantasma. We started, when did we start? A couple weeks ago, I feel. I've done a little bit of work off stream. Let me just make sure we are as close to this as possible. I'm still struggling with the placement of things for the couch setup. I think we're getting there. It's just about finessing at this point. We just need to finesse right now. And it's like I'll set it up and then I'll realize like, okay, you're not going to stitch with your arms outstretched for 3 hours, so we got to bring everything closer to you. And now I must rearrange. Okay, that seems better. We got to work on our posture. Tasha's posture is shite, so we're trying to work on that because I think that's contributing to all of the neck, shoulder, muscle tension that afflicts me on a semi-regular basis. Okay, how many times am I going to punch this lamp off the table? Only time will tell. Okay, so last time we worked on this, we did a little outline of the curve that we need to get to, so now we just get to spend some time filling that in, which is nice, because my brain doesn't appear to be firing on all the cylinders this afternoon. But that's all right. It's a nice, cozy, albeit gloomy Friday to be stitching. But yeah, hope everyone is well. Shadow's here hanging out. I had so first reason to leave the house, obviously, for always, is taking this bad boy for a WALK. Second time, I had an appointment. I had a chiropractor appointment today. And it was weird, but like also, I don't know, man, like bones and muscles are all over your body. That's how bodies work and function. He did an adjustment in my mouth, which is interesting. There was no like cracking and popping. That's like, I know that's usually what chiropractors do, but it was like going in there and just kind of like pulling on a section of like the inside of my mouth and outside, and then doing it on the other side, like around here. So that was interesting. But because I've been having a lot of like sinus issues and stuff, and I guess there's like a lot of, cause even too, I could even feel it when he was poking on it. So right here, there's this muscle like along my jaw, my upper jaw here, my upper mouth muscle, that is like really solid compared to the other side. And so he was like poking around in there today. So who knows if that's going to have any major effect in the coming days. But I think especially because a lot of the sinus issue and stuff I have going on is on the right side of my head. And obviously, like, you have your sort of sinuses around here, right? And, like, you can use nose sprays and whatever, but, like, you also have little sinuses up here, like, by your eyebrows and, like, near your eyes, it seems. And that's the one that always feels inflamed, like I have a bunch of pressure in it. And, like, I don't know if I can shoot a saline spray so far up my nose that it hits the little sinus in the back of my eye. So, yeah, struggling with how to possibly relieve that, but we're working on it. Working through it. But yeah, and then we also finally, because when we finally upgraded to fiber and we got a new like fiber modem and stuff for the internet, they gave you a box that you're meant to then ship the old modem back to the company. So it's just been sitting on our dining room table all week, and I keep looking at it being like, I know, that's true, honestly. Yeah, if I could put some like Vicks Vapo Rub or something and shove it all the way up there, maybe that would help. Good morning. How are you? But yeah, so I finally was able to, well, because I kept looking at it. Oh! Originals, thank you so much for the raid. Thank you so much for coming in. Hello, welcome back. Always lovely to have you. We just started. I was a little bit late to the party today, but it doesn't matter. We're here now, and I'm glad that you're joining me. Hello. What were you doing today? What was going on with you? What happened? All good things, I hope. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I hope things are going well for you. Just making sure I didn't have a knot in there. Nope, all good. Hi. Hello. What have you been up to today? Happy streaming. We're doing some more cross stitching. I just realized I didn't bring the, what is it? The Inspiration, Phantasma, the inspirational toy down, but I think you guys have seen her before. You know what's going on. I think you can kind of tell this is a ghost. Maybe, not quite. I think if you know, you know. She also kind of looks like yeah. I'll never believe it. What will I never believe? Hit me with it. What will I never believe? What were you doing today? But yes, I'm just currently waxing poetic about how my sinuses are plugged. No way! Oh, that's amazing! A small metal DIY set. That's so cool! Oh, that's amazing. What is, have you finished it, or is it still a work in progress? What is it going to look like when it's all finished? That's so exciting. If you have any pictures of it, you can drop it in the chat. Very cool. Oh, I like that. Yeah, had just a short stream to build up again. Definitely, that's nice. A nice little ease back in short stream on a Friday. Just keep it nice and chill. It's a whip gonna be, oh, the London Eye. Oh, that's amazing. That's gonna look really cool. Oh, that's so cool. Is it one of those ones where it comes in those like flat metal sheets and then you like pop them up and then you have like little tiny pliers and you have to fold in the little edges to then pop everything together? Is it one of those? Like, I've seen different kind of metal kits like that where they're sort of like flat pack sheets that you then do a little bit of folding to then slot them all together. Or it could be like a different style. That's gonna look really cool. I've never actually been on the London Eye. Liam and I have gone to that general area when we were doing all the different touristy things, and then we sort of looked, I think it was really cloudy that day too, and there was a queue, and we're like, we're not gonna wait in the queue. So I've never actually been up there, but I've heard when it's a nice day, it's a really nice, you know, little adventure. But obviously, you know, the UK is like 85% just like gloomy cloudy, so if you're going all the way up in like the London Eye Ferris wheel type of thing and you get to the top and all you see is just cloud coverage, I'm sure it's not that impressive. But you know, you just might want to do, you've been, oh, that's amazing. Yeah, pain to get them out of the sheets. Oh, I could imagine. Did you have to like use like a blade or anything to help pop them out? That's really cool though. You had it laying around. Yeah, that's nice. It's always nice when you're kind of like, oh, I've had this thing hanging about. I might as well just like get it out, see how it's going. Yeah, did you go on a nice sunny day? Were you able to see quite a bit when you rode the London Eye? It is still on my like bucket list. I still think it would be nice to go at some point one day. But yeah, gotta make sure you go on a sunny day. I think that was like one of the first times I had visited. I wasn't living here yet, and so we basically decided to do all the like touristy things. So we went on a T-bus tour of London. That was a lot of fun. It was a spring day, partly. Oh, that's nice. So you still were able to see a little bit, but had like that little bit of coverage. That's okay. So it wasn't complete gloomy, cloudy nothingness out there. Yeah, so I went on a T-bus tour, which was really fun. And then we went to Madame Tussauds Wax Museum, because when I was in New York, we went to one, and they're just so fun. They're just so silly. Like, it's very, very touristy, but, like, it's just silly fun. But yeah, the London Eye, we were in the general area, but didn't end up going. I think we ended up going to Namco Tower instead, which is, like, a place that almost is, like, it has, like, you know, all the different games that you play to then get tickets to then be able to redeem stuff. So we ended up doing that instead of waiting to go on the London Eye, which was fun. We had enough tokens. We got a couple of things. One of the things we got, I think we actually have it on display somewhere. I don't know if it's up here, if it's in another part of the room. But we got like a stein, like a clear stein that has, what is it? Pac-Man, like the little Pac-Man ghosts and stuff all over it. I was only there for like 1 day or 2 days. Yeah, so did you try to like get as much in there as possible? What else did you do while you were there? If you don't mind me asking. Because I think luckily, if you're like not scared or hesitant about using like the undergrounds and stuff like that, you could probably get a lot done in a couple of days. You're gonna be walking a hell of a lot. You probably get in like, you know, your 25,000 steps a day when you're doing that. That's what I'm anticipating. My parents are coming in May, and my aunt is as well, and they like to do a lot of stuff, but my aunt also really likes shoes, so my mom had to sit her down and be like, remember, last time we were there, we were doing like, you know, 25,000 steps a day, so maybe you want to do comfort over pretty shoes, potentially. So she was kind of like, oh yeah, right, duh. When she's thinking about like what cute shoes to bring to London, maybe bring ones that are a little bit more durable that can, you know, not make your feet bleed after walking for, you know, 25,000 steps. I do feel like in a way it's good that since I've been taking Shadow on like longer WALKs every day, I think I'm building up my like step stamina, because I feel like before it would be very rare that I would like be anywhere near the like 10,000 steps or whatever. But you know, I'm doing pretty good. So hopefully, because I know when my parents come, we like hit the ground running quite literally, and then I'm like, oh, my feet are on fire. I took the ferry from Holland at night, and then the train center. Oh wow, dropping luggage off. Then went to certain places, then hotel, breakfast in town again. Wow, that's a whirlwind. Went on the boat, the London Eye, the hop off. Yeah, oh, that's really nice. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, if you need to raid and run, if you gotta go get yourself a snack or a drink or whatever, because you just finished streaming, so you need to take care of yourself. But that's amazing. Yeah, a quick little overnight situation. That sounds like a lot of fun. A whirlwind, but fun nonetheless. I think my dad said when he was like, this was years and years ago. I don't know if it was like before he had us or recently. He had a layover in London, I think, for a work trip. So he had like 24 hours, 48 hours in London. But I think he like had taken a red eye or whatever. And so he had time to kill. So I think he like went onto one of those hop on, hop off buses. And obviously while you're going there, they do the sightseeing, whatever. But I think he said he like missed the majority of it because he fell asleep on the bus. So he's like, yeah, I just drove around London, didn't see anything because I was asleep after traveling for however long. So when they finally came to, like, visit me here, he got to actually, like, see a little bit more. Isn't it wild that it's the last day of March today, you guys? It's gonna be April tomorrow, which is wild. I feel like the first few months have just flown by. It's always one of those things where you're kind of like, oh yeah, like I have, you know, because we have a few weddings coming up and we have like an event happening in May and trying to get everything organized for that, and you're kind of like, oh yeah, we have lots of time, like this is all gonna, you know, take a long way, you know, just we can just be chill, be casual about it. And then now we're like, holy shit, it's coming up, like we need to get stuff together and get it sorted. But thankfully I think most things are done. It's now just like little things. Though the event we're planning, there are still people that haven't RSVP'd. I looked on the invitations and I did give them until the 8th of April to RSVP, but I think next week, because it'll be April, I'm just gonna start chasing the people I've not heard from and be like, yo, yes or no, are you coming? Just to like get that stuff done. Because I feel like a lot of times leading up to like a reception or things like that, people kind of will have things that they'll do sort of the week leading up to the event. But because my parents and my brother and everyone are coming the week leading up to the event and we have all these different plans and things in their sightseeing to do, I want to have everything organized and finished and sorted before they show up. So like 2 weeks before the event. So then it's just us rocking up with the stuff and setting up like on the day. Just because I know if I'm trying to like entertain them and also finish sorting stuff out, I'm gonna stress myself out. So trying to be a little proactive. You know, whether or not that will happen, I don't know. But that is my goal. That is my want. Speaking of which, let me grab. So I think I told you guys how, because we have these couple weddings coming up, and I have a specific idea because I got these. Actually, I can probably show them to you too. They're downstairs. I got these mushroom earrings for my birthday, and I want like a green dress. My goal is to always just look like a little forest nymph, a little forest fairy, forest craft gremlin extraordinaire. And so I don't actually have any like brown or like green dresses that I think would look nice with these earrings. And so I've been looking online and I haven't quite found exactly what I wanted. Hi Saul, good afternoon, sir. How are you doing today? I missed you yesterday because we were playing Strange Horticulture and we had those puzzle cards and I didn't solve like 3 of them. I was like, I don't know what this means. And now we've ended up finishing the game because we don't have the right plants we need because we've not solved the puzzles. And I was just sitting there thinking to myself, if Saul was here, he'd help me solve them. I bet Saul knows what these clues mean. He's played many a puzzle game in his time. I think he knows what's up. So, we'll see. Next time we play it, I should have just messaged you being like, what does this mean? But yeah, anyway, so I was looking online for these dresses and I was like, I can't really find one. And then it dawned on me, why don't I just make my own? I've never done it before. I've always wanted to, and I have a Hobbycraft gift card. So maybe I should get some patterns and then sort of go from there. And yeah. Good afternoon, no complete mistake. Yeah. Honestly, you had a busy day for you yesterday, so I completely understood and was like, there is no need for you to stop by. Yeah, no. I wouldn't, you know, it was just one of those where I was like, I know who's really good at puzzles. But you had your hands full. I wasn't gonna be like, you know, selfishly be like, get your ass on stream to help me play a game. You know, that's what walkthroughs are for. I could have done that. But you were missed. You were missed. You always are. I always appreciate when you're here. Let me just cross off what we're doing, and then I'll show you guys the patterns, because they arrived in the mail today. My next step now. Hey man, don't worry. We still have them. I've not solved them. So next time we play the game, trust me, I have 3 puzzles. I have no freaking idea what they mean. So you'll have plenty to help with. You'll have plenty to help with whenever we play it next. Let me grab you these patterns and show ya. Let me show ya. Oh, hi, BB. I'm sorry, did I get up quickly and startle you? That tends to happen with you, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. But yes, so these are the earrings right here. So this is one of the earrings, and so they're super cute, and I love them, and so I want to wear them with, like, for these events that we were going to, these weddings. But I was like, I need something that goes with them. And so I ended up getting 2 different patterns, and apparently they are specifically learn to sew patterns. So this one is level 1 learn to sew, and this is level 2 learn to sew. So this is level 1. And I figured the dress that the model has on, that one right there, but like in a green, I could make that, and then that would go really nice with the mushroom earrings. So we've never done this, but you guys are going to come along for the adventure at some point. And then this one, I own a dress that is basically this, but it's in black. So I'm like, I basically was like, I just want to get a green or like chocolate brown version of that dress. So I'm going to just make it myself. So this one. And then there's also one that like is cute that has like sleeves and things, but because all the weddings are in the summer or they're like in places that are warm, there's one destination wedding. Actually, they're technically both destination weddings, which is wild, but I think it's gonna be warm. So I figured we don't want sleeves. We don't want sleeves, especially if we're gonna be dancing at weddings. I like to dance, so I don't need sleeves. I need to let my pits breathe if I'm gonna be busting a move at these weddings. But yeah, so these are the patterns. So my next order of business is to actually find fabric stores that stock clothing fabric. So as of right now, there's a couple like haberdashery stores in my area, but I don't know. I don't really know what the quality of their products are. I do just need to go and like check them out. In terms of like quality fabric stores, I know of one, but it's a quilt store. So I'm now realizing, you know, it's dawning on me, quilt fabric shopping and clothes fabric shopping, 2 completely different ball games. So just because there is a fabric store out there doesn't mean it's going to have the fabric that you need to do the thing. So I need to figure that out. There's tons online, but I feel like if you're gonna make something to wear, you probably want to feel the fabric to make sure it's not gonna feel gross to like live in for multiple hours at a time. You know what I mean? So yeah, that is next on the agenda on top of, you know, other random things. But I feel like too, because I think the first wedding is in July, June or July. I think July. No, it's August. It's August. So it's in August. I'm just naming months arbitrarily right now. So no, it's in August, and then the other one is in September. So I feel like that's a reasonable amount of time for me to acquire the things to make the things for the things, you know? So yeah, we'll see. And then also my mom and my aunt are going to be coming over in between, like, in May. And so they will help me with pattern understandings and stuff. At least my mom will. We'll have some downtime. My aunt might want to like do something new and exciting and wonderful every single day. And we might not have time to look at patterns. But my mom, on the other hand, will be like, yes, let's go look at fabric and touch fabric and find things. It was really funny though, because I was looking at what color green I want, because I was looking at different shades and like also different pattern, like just different other green dresses online and stuff, because when you look up green is such a spectrum. And also too, different colors will mean things to certain people. So if I say a forest green, I feel like there's almost different variations of what that means. Another green here that seems to be really popular is bottle green, which is almost like a really dark bluish green. And so I was walking Shadow this morning and I was looking at, you know, just thinking about green, looking at the grass, looking at stuff. And I realized, to be fair, there's even variations in that, but the most accurate green that when I think about the green fabric that I want is the color of all the rubbish bins in the neighborhood. So I wonder if I were to go to like a fabric store and be like, I'm looking for fabric that is bin green. And they'd be like, what? Because it's a nice green, guys. It's a nice green. I feel like it is the green I want. Is basically, yeah, UK bin green. That's the color. That's the vibe. Though I did notice that, I guess basically due to wear and tear and like sun bleaching and things like that, the bins even have different green variations. But there does seem to be a common green thread amongst the bins in the area. So yeah, bin green seems to be my current color of choice right now. But yeah, so that's currently everything that's going on right now. Oh, our upstairs shower is still out of commission, right? And so we had somebody come in today to give us sort of a quote about how much it would cost and what it would look like to just redo the whole bathroom. And so the guy came in, he was really nice, didn't want to make friends with Shadow, so Shadow was not happy about it. We had to keep him in here. Because I said, oh, we have a dog, like, he's a bit jumpy, is it okay if he says hi? And he's kind of like, as long as he doesn't jump up on me. And I'm like, okay, you don't want to say hi to him. Like, let's be honest. So Shadow and me stayed down here, and then Liam went upstairs with the guy to like go over and look for quotes and stuff. And Shadow's so sweet, eh? So we have these little pocket doors that we close. You can probably actually see them right there. There's these doors here. And so when we close those, then that usually helps too when we get like deliveries for food and all that kind of stuff, that we can keep him in the other room so that we're not worried about him going to the door, trying to escape, doing whatever. But of course he could hear them talking, right? And so he sits down at the door and he kind of whines. Every once in a while he pauses at the door to be like, I would like to go make a new friend, please. And I had to keep telling him, like, Shadow, they don't want to be your friend. I'm really sorry. I know it's really hard for you to believe that, somebody actually doesn't want to come and say hi to you when they're in the house, but that's just sometimes how it goes, I was like, sorry, no new friend today. Because obviously when we got the internet installed, like the fiber installed, the delivery guy didn't mind. The installation guy was like, yeah, like I'll come hang out with this, the dog doesn't bother me. And Shadow was like a little jumpy and whatever, but the guy just took it all in his stride. He was fine. But you can kind of tell when you tell people like, oh, I have a dog, and they're kind of like, oh, okay. I'm like, you are not a dog person. Okay, we will keep him away from you. And he's just like, but friend? And I'm like, no, Shadow, not friend. He's like, that's messed up. Yeah, try to tell him that, not everyone wants to say hi to him when they come over, or they're not the very first thing. Because that's what happens when we have friends and family come over. It's like they want to come say hi and give us hugs and stuff and say, hey, how's it going? No. If you have not sufficiently said hello to Shadow first, he will jump up on you and lean against you and paw at you until you give him enough attention, and then you can say hi to me and Liam. That's just the order of operations. Say hi to him first, then you can say hi to us. But yeah, so that was interesting. But the other thing too, though, because I don't know if, to be fair, I think we were a little bit naive in thinking that it would be a thing, because the guy was like, yeah, there's a certain, bathroom store, whatever, that we deal with. So you go there, tell them what you want, and then they'll get back to us, and then we'll arrange, you know, to come and install it or whatever and do all those kind of things. But then he kind of told Liam, like, it's gonna take a while. It's not like, you know, you order it and then next week we come in and do it. Like, it's gonna take months, because they obviously have to order the stuff, get the things in, obviously slot us in if they have other jobs to do. And obviously, like I said, we have family coming over in May, so we're like, shit, do we really want to have both? Because we, like, luckily we're fortunate that we have a bathroom downstairs, so I can shower, and like we have a toilet and stuff there. But we're like, do we want to have, you know, basically, like, we're gonna have there's gonna be 4 people in the house, 4 adults in the house at any one time. But obviously everyone's gonna be coming over for like dinner and all these different things, right? So at most points during the day, during the week, there's gonna be what? 7 adults in the house? Do we really want to have only one toilet? I don't know if that's a good idea. So we're sort of deciding, like, okay, I still think, like, we need to go in and pick what we want to do if we are going to redo the bathroom, because I'm pretty sure what will happen is we'll go in, pick what we want, they'll order it, and that's going to take, you know, a couple of months. And then by the time they order it, then the company has to slot us in to be able to do the reno, and that's going to take a couple of months. So it's either going to be happening right when they're here, or it'll start after they come to us. So it's worth us still, like, going through and sort of putting everything in place. But if they turn around and go, yeah, we can rip it up, like, next month, we might be like, no, maybe don't do that, because we need to make sure we have 2 working toilets before we have a bunch of people in the house. But yeah, so that's currently a thing. So yeah, the shower's out of commission, but I think we're just gonna leave it until afterwards. As long as nobody uses it, then I assume that the leak and everything will be fine. It doesn't appear that the other, like, the sink and the toilet are funneled through the same area, that the leak is impacting those. It just seems to be impacting the shower, so that's nice. At least it's not like a massive thing that's, like, gonna cause, you know, the bathroom's not gonna fall through the ceiling because it's all rotted and shit, thankfully. I think we would have noticed too if, like, everything was leaking and rotting away. I would assume. I would like to hope that, you know, the issue would present itself before it became catastrophic, you know what I mean? But I'm not too sure. It was interesting, though, because one of the things that the guy said, like, because obviously the bathroom has some tiles and things, so the floor is tile, and then we have tiles, like, halfway up the bathroom, and one of the things that the guy was saying, like, you know, once you pick the tiles out and whatever, which, by the way, is probably the most expensive part, which, again, I think I've talked to you guys about before. I think that's so funny. That, like, the appliances, nah, you can get for peanuts. The tiles, that's where you're going to, like, get dinged the most when it comes to those sorts of renos, which is interesting to me. But yeah, so one of the things he said, though, is, like, what tends to happen with homes in our area from their experience is they go to, like, take tiles off and they end up pulling all of the, like, plaster and stuff off with it, and it ends up coming back to the bricks. So it ends up potentially becoming a bigger job. It's not just, like, popping the tiles off and slapping new tiles back on. It's like, pop the tiles off, they rip down all of the, like, drywall with it, or plaster with it, and then we got to get someone in to replaster everything before it can then be retiled. In his experience, that seems to happen with houses around here. He's like, let's just hope that doesn't happen to yours, and then it won't, you know, be as expensive and take too much time. But I'm like, me and Liam are like, we will absolutely factor that in. Because I feel like with anything, with, like, making large purchases, like buying a house, or, you know, doing a renovation, or even, like, buying a car and stuff, like, I feel like you have, you know, it's like you have your budget. This is how much we want to pay for it. And here's the extra money in case shit hits the fan and stuff goes wrong. You know what I mean? You need to be able to have that. not everyone has the luxury of having that, but I think, like, even if your budget is really small, you need to, like, anticipate, like, this is the budget for the thing, and this is the budget for all of the potential problems once we procure the thing. That's always, yeah. Because that's always the funniest thing when I've seen, like, you watch, I don't know if you guys have ever watched, like, the HGTV home decorating shows and stuff. My mom loves watching them, so we used to have them on all the time when I was living there. And even when they come over, we always have them over. And it'll always be, like, this couple buys a fixer-upper, and, you know, those, like, DIY home shows where they go around, look at these houses, they go, oh, this house is really great, this house, pick 3 houses, pick a house, whatever. And then they go, and one of them, I think one of them was Love It or List It, usually. So one is, like, the Love It or List It concept is one half of the team tries to redecorate the house to make it so that the couple or the family still wants to live in the house, and the other person is a realtor that's going to try to find a house for them so that'll make them want to list their previous house. So that's the whole premise. And then usually what ends up happening is, like, obviously they'll say, okay, we have this much of a budget for DIY and this much of a budget for house or whatever. Yeah, exactly. The monetary padding, 100% glasses. Yes, 100%. Yeah. So what ends up happening 9 times out of 10 is the DIY house will go and, like, open a wall or something, and then it'll be like, oh, you have asbestos. Oh, none of your wiring is up to code. Oh, there's a bunch of rot. Oh, you have a termite problem. And then it's like, boom, there's another however many grand. And then the couple are like, oh my God, we're sinking so much money into this. Like, it's not worth it, whatever. And I'm like, that's because you didn't account for when you break open walls. You don't know what's behind the walls. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know. So, yeah, I've seen a few of them. Luckily, I think it's only happened a couple times where they've been like, oh, we need to fumigate your house. And that's going to cost however much. And you're like, yeah, you just assumed that when you broke open the walls, everything was going to be all hunky-dory behind it. And also, especially these kinds of houses, because they're however, like, old, you know, like, they're however many years old, I'm sure things have changed, right? Like, this house was built back when it was, like, acceptable to have, like, lead pipes and shit. You know what I mean? So over time, things get upgraded and changed in accordance to laws, but I'm sure other things are, like, unless you open it up and look for it, you don't know it's there until you find it. Part of what we're doing is breaking things. Stuff happens. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so it'll be very interesting, because we obviously had, like, our garage redone, but that was, like, DIYers coming to the property, but they were outside the house. Aw, Kate Marie, thank you very, very much for the follow. I appreciate you for being here. But yeah, so I'm not used, like, it'll be interesting when that happens, because it'll be like, oh, there's gonna be randos coming in and out of the house in the house, whereas before it was like randos coming in and out of the property, but, like, there, you know, they were outside and I was inside. But, you know, you do what you gotta do. If anything, at least because they'll be upstairs, I can then just, like, live downstairs during the day while it's happening. But we don't know. We don't know what the plan is yet. Do we? And then we just gotta hope that they like dogs, because, you know, God forbid. Luckily, the ones who did the garage, they were, like, okay. They warmed to him eventually, and, like, some of them didn't mind, like, saying hi to them and things like that. But yeah. Because, you know, it's like, if you don't like dogs, or, like, you have a fear, or you're not interested in things like that, it's like, I totally get that. But I'm also like, you know, he's not gonna take no for an answer. He's gonna be like, you will love me. You will pet me. If you're gonna be here for 3 months in the house, you better give me some love at some point. Yeah, exactly. The original builders, probably didn't figure their work being broken down intentionally. That's the thing, right? And it's actually great. Like, houses are definitely built to last here, but, like, eventually people want to upgrade stuff, or they want to move things around, and yeah. It's definitely, I find it's a lot more labor intensive. Pets know his rights. Yeah, exactly. He knows. He's like, listen, it's my house. You must be nice and come and greet me. Come say hello. I live here. Please acknowledge me. And honestly, I get that. I'd probably feel the same way if I had people coming in and out of my house and, like, were just ignoring me the whole time. I'd probably be a little bit annoyed, too. I'd be like, yo, am I a ghost? Like, come say hi. So I get it. He can't help it. Yeah. Alright. Oh, actually, too. I was thinking about, like, you know, other DIY stuff. So I told you guys before how we are, well, and I keep talking about it on and off, but so the reception that we're doing, that's the thing that's happening in May. That's why all the family's coming over, all that kind of stuff. So it's our 4-year delayed wedding reception. And so we decided that we were going to make the centerpieces for the tables. And so I showed you guys that tree that I picked up that now has all of the subscribers on it. We hang the stuff off the tree. But so Liam took a photo of that and he rendered it in his 3D printer, and he's been printing all these different colors of the tree. And then we also got a bunch of little lights, and we're sort of like stringing up different things in order to make this happen. But we trialed, it's not 100% because we haven't figured out how to, and interesting actually, side note, if anybody knows the best glue to stick PLA to PLA, because hot glue's not doing it. The hot glue, the glue gun, just dries and then the PLA just pops off of it. So that's not helpful. So that's what we have to do some research on. But the first instance trial of it is complete. So I'll go grab it in a minute and I'll show you guys because it's really cool and I'm excited about it. It's hard to blame pets who feel that way. Naturally, they have to fend for themselves. When humans, sometimes the whole family feeds them and grooms them. Exactly. Yeah, honestly, and he is a little princess too. He does think the world revolves around him, and honestly, it kind of does. Our world kind of does. So, I also, I feel like it's the same with kids, right? When they're like, oh, you mean, my parents tell me I'm amazing and everything is great and I'm the best, but then not everyone thinks that way about me? How strange. That's weird. I get told every day how wonderful and amazing and what a good boy I am. You mean that not everybody thinks I'm a good boy? What's that about? But yeah, let me go and get this. We'll see if he stays. When I make sudden movements, he gets very confused. Or he doesn't get confused, he just doesn't like it. So I'm gonna go be right back, and I'm gonna go grab the centerpiece and show you guys. But I'll leave the camera on so you can watch him sleep, I guess. I don't know. Be right back. You didn't move while I was gone, but your eyes opened up like you were suspicious. Don't worry, I'm back. And children discover that their hands and start knocking things over so the parent can pick it back up. Honestly, I've definitely played that with toddlers. It's the knock the stuff off of the high chair and watch them pick it up. 100%. Ooh, oh no. But yes, again, we don't know how to attach the two pieces. But look how cool it is. And so this is the tree. But yeah, we gotta figure out how to attach the two parts. And then this is the base. And then there's little mushrooms that stick out. And they're all gonna be different colors. And so we have all these different colored trees, and we're gonna do different colored bases to go with them. And then let me take, this is gonna take a minute, because again, it's not 100%. I'm just breaking shit. But everything, it lights up. Let me pop this back into place. Nope. I think I broke it. It's fine. But look! And then it lights up. So the little mushrooms light up. And then I wrapped like some fairy lights around the bottom, around the tree. And then those are going to be our little centerpieces, and they're going to all be different colors, and I'm really, really excited about them. Yeah! And so, yeah, the tree is inspired by that tree that I picked up from Hobbycraft. And then Liam designed the base. And then obviously he had to render the tree in the 3D software place. The 3D printing software. And then, yeah, he's recently, I don't know how this works though. So he also printed a lid for this to slot in. But now I don't know how to slot it out. But yeah, so I'm really, really excited about it. But we keep, oh, there we go. There he is, I think. Yeah. Okay. I need to fix that though. But yes, so this is it. It's very cool and I love it. But yeah, we're having the 3D printer is being very temperamental. So as soon as we like have everything figured out and we know what we're doing, it then throws us a curveball and goes, haha, just kidding, I'm gonna jam, or I'm gonna not print fully, or something like that. Yes, honestly, like I've become a little bit mushroom obsessed. I feel like I low-key, my goal is just to eventually look like a mushroom. I'm gonna get like a little hat, like a little cute mushroom beret or something like that, or I'm so excited. I'm gonna be getting this cardigan that has a bunch of different mushrooms all over it, and I just basically want to look like a little forest spirit or something. But yeah, I'm kind of low-key obsessed. Truly. Ooh, there we go. Okay, let's keep going. But yeah, so that's what's going on. So it's very exciting. But yeah, we just need the 3D printer to stop being temperamental and print these out. And then we also, because we ordered a bunch of like sample lights and things, so now we need the lights to start coming. So they have no mushrooms when I order pizza. Hey man, that's all right. You're doing better than me. I don't have. To be fair, I was talking about this the other day about how I don't know why I don't buy mushrooms to eat at the store and things, like, or eat from the store, because I feel like they probably are like just such a basic, versatile vegetable to just like saute and put in stuff, but I never think to buy them. I don't know if it's because like by the time we decide to use them, the problem with like fresh vegetables that I find is that you get a bunch of different vegetables and then you got to figure out what you want to put them in, and then by the time I figure out what I want to make with the thing that I buy, then they get mushy and they go off. And so we have certain vegetables that have sort of become like staples that we chuck in everything. So we always get carrots, we always get onions, we always get peppers, because we constantly throw them in like a lot of what we make. And so when I buy like a courgette / zucchini or like green beans or something like that, where I can only really envision them going in a particular one-off dish, I have to like be prepared to make that on the day or not. You know what I mean? So I can't get over the texture. Yeah, I think that's the thing too. Like I feel like that's a very common thing, Kate. Yeah, the texture component. You know what I mean? Googie, yeah. Definitely. So yeah, it is the texture thing I think gets a lot of people. I don't have the texture aversion, but it's more just becoming inventive. I don't know. I have to actually ask Liam. I think the reason I don't buy them is because I think that he doesn't like them. But I think we also just don't know what to put in them. But there's so many things. Like once you think about it, you're like, you can put mushrooms in pasta. You can like put mushrooms just in like a sauteed vegetable medley. Like you can do all sorts with them, but you just have to do that. But yeah, I do think like they're, and also too, because I even do think, I've never done rug tufting. No, I've done punch needling. That's like the closest I've gotten to it, but I've watched rug tufting and it's wild. We saw this guy on YouTube that did like a massive wall and was making massive carpets and had this crazy punching machine that like snipped the fibers and stuff as it went, and it was wild. But yeah, no, just I've not forayed into that side of fiber. Have you ever done it? It looks really cool. But yeah, I've never. But yeah, punch needling's the closest I've gotten. It's okay to think about that. Yeah. They are a type of fungus. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm trying, but space. Yeah, that's the thing. I guess you could probably, there's like little ones you could probably make, but then I guess if you want like a decent sized rug to then be able to like walk on and stuff, yeah, you need the vertical space and the physical space to be able to accommodate that. I could see that being a bit of a struggle. I guess you could start with like really fuzzy bath mats. Those are small. You know what I mean? Like you could do like a small little bath mat and that might be a little bit better. Or like a rug that sits like in front of a door, like a welcome mat sort of space. Watch Living Dead. No. It's one of those things, like, I love, like, spooky things, but I'm not a fan of, like, scary things, if that makes sense. So I love ghosts and bats and witches and things like that, but then I'm not really, like, a horror person, which is always really funny, because I always find, like, because I'm, like, part of different, like, Halloween groups. Like, I love Halloween. Halloween, like, #1 holiday, absolutely obsessed with Halloween. But obviously with that then comes all of the sort of horror associations, which I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, the rug hooking thing. Oh yeah, I would believe it probably is. It looks very intricate, especially where it has like the scissors and all those different things. I don't think so. I used to, it's actually really funny. There was this book in my elementary school library that I think was all about like supernatural experiences or like yeah, like just different things like that, or like mind over matter sort of stuff. And so me and my neighbor used to try to ghost hunt in my bathroom in my childhood home. So we had like this unfinished bathroom in the basement of my childhood home, and we used to have like, so this book had like ghost hunting tools or whatever. And so we would sit there in the bathroom in the dark with our like arsenal of stuff. But it even extended like beyond ghosts. It was like any sort of paranormal shit, right? So we were like, oh, we have a clove of garlic in case, I don't know, fucking ghost vampires, I don't know. So we would have these different things, and yeah, so we tried. But I honestly don't know like if our house was old enough. I don't know, man. I feel like it depends on what the interaction is. If you just kind of see one, it would be like, yo, what's up? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't be, I don't know if I would be scared. I guess it depends if the ghost was like poltergeisty and was like trying to like throw shit on the ground and things. Because I'm not a big fan of like loud, random noises. So I think if it was like a poltergeist sort of thing that was like knocking shit off the table and like making loud noises, that would freak me out. But it wouldn't be the ghost that would freak me out. It would be the loud noises, if that makes sense. Makes sense. I love the Addams Family when I was growing up. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I call it, it's like kind of like spooky macabre stuff that's like a little bit almost like campy, like sort of campy macabre stuff I'm really into. So like Addams Family, Daria, that's more campy. That's not macabre. Beetlejuice, that's what I was thinking of. It's adjacent. I'm only thinking of the Beetlejuice cartoon. So yeah, Beetlejuice, Addams Family, those sorts of things where it's like horror, spooky, but also sort of like campy and comedy-esque. I really like those things. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, cool. You like Evil Dead? I've heard really good things about Evil Dead. Like, I know of like the Necronomicon and different things like that, but I never got into it. But I know it's like a standard in sort of like campy horror stuff, you know what I mean? I've heard many a good thing. We have a ghost in my work. He likes to move things multiple occasions. I'll have boxes thrown behind me or shopping carts. No. Yeah, see, I don't know. And then you kind of wonder too. You're kind of like, oh, what are they looking for? You know what I mean? Like, I hope they're okay. Or, you know, it could just be that they want to be noticed, and then you just got to be like, yo, what's up? You know? Actually, to be fair, I say this, Daria was awesome. Daria was awesome. It is awesome. I have the box set DVD. I actually didn't watch Daria like when it initially came out in the 90s. I think I was too young, but when I was going through grad school like 5 years ago or whatever, I started binging it, and it just became like my first time living on my own, and that was like my comfort show, was like binging Daria to help me like cope with life. Where are you from? I'm originally from Canada. I'm originally from Ontario, like Northern Ontario, but I currently live in the UK. So I live in the UK in sort of like the greater London area, but I'm from Canada. Fear the Ghost either just wants to play. Yeah! Or he wants to hurt me but has horrible timing. That's so funny. It's almost like, it's like when like Wile E. Coyote's trying to like attack the Roadrunner, but it just ends up hurting himself in the process. That's what that ghost is doing. I was gonna say, like, I've never had a ghostly experience. Me and Liam have this running joke. So the woman that we bought this house from, her name is Pam. She was this 80-year-old woman. And so she sold the house because she had like COPD and really couldn't like live in a massive house by herself anymore, and moved into like a sort of smaller retirement kind of community area. But then, and I think it was last year, she passed away because her neighbor has known her for a long time. So I think her son let the neighbor know that she had passed away. And every once in a while, actually not every once in a while, it's like freaking every night, the sensors inside of our garage, so the lights are like sensor lights inside the garage, and the door is shut, the like, what is it, garage door, and then like the regular opening door, those are all shut, but the light turns on like randomly at night all the time. And I think that the sensor's just really strong, and there's like a bird or something walking past, or the wind or something like that, and it turns it on. But sometimes it'll just randomly be on. And so we joke that it's Pam hanging out in the garage, you know, looking over the house and stuff. And if we hear random things, we'll always be like, oh, it's Pam. Or if Shadow's like looking off into the distance and like just seems a bit zoned out, we're like, oh, Pam's here. You know what I mean? So now that I think about it, maybe I have. Or I'm just like extrapolating. I'm just like, oh yeah, it's Pam. You know, just like hanging out, checking out on the house. Because she loved this house. I think she wouldn't have moved if only like if she could still handle like the stairs and stuff like that, but yeah, because of her health condition, she wasn't able to. And she had this beautiful garden, but you can just tell that it had like overgrown because she just wasn't physically able to take care of it anymore and stuff. So I do think like she had a lot of love for this place, and you know, we just hope that, you know, we have as much life and love to give in this house as well, almost in like this sort of roundabout way of honoring her, because we know how much she loved it. I figure the ghost either. Yeah. Okay, I hadn't had any experiences until I changed work locations and got moved to a new store. I was always a skeptic, but I have too many experiences at the store. That's wild. And is it only you that's having these experiences, or do other people in the location you work at like have experiences as well? Have they mentioned stuff like, oh yeah, this is the thing? Well, thanks for these feats. Should I put this over here so it's easier? Okay. Trying to think what my goal is. Actually, we can probably. So right now, this pattern is 4 pages. So we're currently working on the first page. We still have a little way to go. We're actually making pretty good progress. I'm wondering where we should go next, because we have the little arm. I think I might have to move the hoop though to make the arm. Move it out a little bit, but I think we'll go that way. Excuse me, we might as well. Other people have had experienced some things, but I worked overnight for a while. Overnight's just quieter, so you notice more. That's true. That makes a lot of sense. During the day, the stores are too busy. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, where there's, like, so much more hustle and bustle. So I think things that, yeah, if things suddenly fall or move, you sort of don't. You're like, oh, it must be, like, because there's so many people in the store or whatever. Yeah, whereas, like, if it's overnight and it's kind of just you, like, stocking shelves or whatever, or doing things like that, it's like you'll notice a lot more. Definitely. But yeah, so it's probably, like, overnight. Staff would probably have more of those experiences. That's really interesting. I guess, like, in some ways, because you think about, like, not that it's, well, I think, like, you know, it's quite cool, or it would be quite an honor, you know, for a ghost to sort of show themselves to you, I think. But then I also, like, I kind of feel a little bit bad, because isn't it sort of like the rhetoric, the only reasons ghosts exist, if you believe in ghosts, is that their spirit still has business on Earth, and they haven't been able to pass on to whatever, you know, whatever their version of the afterlife is, because they still have unfinished business, and so they, like, roam the earth before they can, like, kind of figure out what that is. And so it's, like, really cool where you're like, oh wow, like, you know, thanks ghost for, like, making yourself known to me, but also, like, damn, what unfinished business do you have that's, like, stopping you from being able to cross over? You know, I'm like, oh man, like, I hope you figure it out, or I hope you, you know, come to terms and find it, so that your soul may find peace and rest. Or maybe none of that's true. Like, maybe, you know, the basis of what we know about ghosts is a lie, and even if they are passed on, they can be like, nah. You know what I mean? They're just like, I have more fun, like, haunting the shit out of people. I could, like, go and, like, live the peaceful afterlife, but also, like, I just want to get up to shenanigans, you know? I'm sure there are some people that are like that. But then, that might be their unfinished business. So, you know, wanting to mess with people could be part of their unfinished business. I don't know. So yeah, maybe the circumstances are still valid in that instance. I'm not sure. Her unfinished business. Oh, okay. Oh, I don't know if I know. Yeah, if they've died a violent death as well. That sucks when you think about it. Because it's like, if I've died a violent death, I think the last thing I would want to do is roam around. I think I'd want to be like, wow, that sucked. I would like fast track to peaceful afterlife, please. You know, if anything, that seems like a cruel joke. I'm like, I didn't choose to die violently. I would like to have a nice calm afterlife, please. But I don't know if the unfinished... Yeah, I don't know. Because I guess there's different types of violent death. So you wonder, like, obviously if it's certain ones, there might still be some, like, unfinished business of, like, trying to figure out what happened or how it happened or whatever. But in other instances, I think it would be pretty cut and dry, even if it is quite violent. So that would suck. I would be like, listen... I've experienced, you know, ghost me would be like, listen, I've gone through some shiz. The last thing I want to do is keep hanging out around here. But I guess the other side of that, if you kind of take the unfinished business route with the violent death route, is that if usually I would assume violent also could mean quite sudden as well, right? In most instances, there's no, like, I don't know, no not sudden violent death, right? So I would assume that would also be sort of like unfinished business, like, oh, like I still had a lot of aspirations, or, you know, I want to make sure that my family's okay, or all that kind of stuff. Like, I think those could all be sort of part of that, possibly. So I think they could be intrinsically linked, the violent versus the after, you know what I mean? So I don't know. Yeah, right? So I was like, happy little phantasma ghost. I think the same. Yeah. They're sort of like they're sort of like intertwined in terms of their logic. Oh, that one didn't go in there. I'd be like Casper. Yeah. Isn't it true too though? I don't know. I feel like I've not watched Casper in a long time. And I know there's lots of iterations of Casper, but I think the one with Christina Ricci, there was talk about why he does have unfinished business. But also too, like we said, it could just be like they just like vibing. Like I don't know if I don't think Phantasma has unfinished business. She just likes to hang out, you know? She just likes to be here. She's like, I'll just, you know, stay a while. Oh, did I not? Oh no, this looks correct to me. Or no? I don't know. I'm confused. What's going on here? Holds a grudge against me, probably. Yeah, I don't know if that works too, right? Like, could it work the opposite where it's like, you know, I don't, like you, the person who's passed on, doesn't have unfinished business, but what if people have unfinished business with you? You know what I mean? Like, what if somebody had passed away and they're like, you know, business partner was like, no, this person screwed me over. I have unfinished business with them. They need to now, like, suffer in the afterlife because I've not reconciled my shit with them. You think it could work that way too? Where it's like, I have beef with Casper, so Casper needs to continue to exist and not pass on to the afterlife because I have beef with him. You know what I mean? Yeah, like I wonder if that, or I don't know if it works that way, because that would be really cruel, actually. But I guess then it would be the thing where it's like, you know, even in death you can't escape the shit that plagues you. You know what I mean? Yeah, could you imagine? Yeah, you must wander the plains of limbo in your ghostly form because you forgot to sign your tax return. That would suck. That would be the ultimate form of, like, the tax man really having the last laugh. That would be cruel. That would be a cruel situation. This is like the most stressful game of Floss Chicken. Are we gonna be able to do this last one? I don't think we have enough, and that really annoys me. But it's not like we don't need to do more, so I should just lose this game and be fine with it. Did you really know? You didn't tell me this. Wowie wow. I'm actually really intrigued by what the profile pictures are of British Tinder. Because I think that's always the thing that fascinated me when I was on Tinder back in the day. Different regions had completely different, like, kinds of profiles, right? Because again, I grew up in Northern Ontario, so the Tinder profiles of all the dudes there was like, look at my truck, look at my fish, look at this thing I shot. It was a lot of that. And I was like, no, I'm not about that life. I don't care about your truck. I don't care about your fish. I don't care about your deer. You know, like, I don't care, you know? And then I would go down to Toronto for the weekend, and it would be like bros in, like, suits and stuff, like, at the club with their wine, and they'd be very coiffed and, like, very, you know, like, very done up and stuff. And so they were completely different vibes. It was like, this is Northern Ontario country bumpkin, look at me sort of stuff, or it was like posh, you know, bar hopping, like, kid who's in, like, business school. You know what I mean? Those were, like, so it was always very, very interesting to me, what those things were. Even now still, to, like, a lesser degree. when I still pop on Facebook every once in a while, I'll have like, you know how there'll be like the people you may know section, will be, yeah, you'll have the people you may know section. And I like to play a little game with myself where I try to guess if the people are from Canada, like my hometown, or if they're from the UK. Because it seems like, again, with like distinct styles and stuff as well, usually, not all the time. I think it's easier to tell with girls, like girls sort of like, you know, a bit younger than me and stuff, like sort of the 20-year-old age. I can usually tell if they're Canadian people I may know, or if they're British people I may know. The style and the caliber or the type of photo they post is different. The dudes sometimes, but I find they're a bit more tricky. So usually it depends on the names. Like the names sometimes give them away as well, because there's certain names that people aren't named in Canada versus like the UK and stuff. I did not sure it was a reactionary thing considering what happened, but yeah, there was either group of people which are confusing. Oh yes, that's always the worst. The worst, and I think that's a tactic. Because dudes will do the same thing. I'm sure, you know, it's similar across the genders where, yeah, the first photo is a group photo and you're like, excuse me, which one is you? You know what I mean? And you're like, okay, well, I am, you know, the most physically attracted to this one, so I hope it's that one. And then, you know, sometimes it's not. And you're like, well, shit. You just hope they have more than one photo. But that was the other thing, too, where it was like, and to be fair, I think I've seen a post about this. It was probably like a comedy bit or something like that. Hi, Nunde! Good afternoon! How you doing? Yeah. It's always the one you don't want. Yeah. You're on Facebook dating? Yeah. Is there a thing? I didn't know that was a thing. Is Facebook dating a thing? I did not know that. I guess that would be helpful because it would be like, you know, people you may know. Because it's like you're more likely to have a connection with like friends of friends and stuff. Potentially. I don't know. Yeah. Interesting. I wonder what that, like, comparatively, what that's like. Because I've been told, you know, again, I only ever did the Tinder thing because that's when I was in my, like, you know, early 20s fuck around and find out phase. So I've not been on any of the other ones, but I've heard different things from different apps. So you go to Tinder, you might find, you know, you could find those genuine connections, or you might just find, you know, like people to play around with, and that might be what you want, right? To be fair, I met some pretty interesting people. I met some pretty interesting people, but I met some genuinely interesting people. They don't connect you with friends, but you can send photos and messages with no unwanted pics. Oh yeah, that's nice. That's fair. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm like, have I probably gotten an unintentional photo? But yeah, so I've heard that. And then I've heard that Bumble is a more genuine connection place. But I'm obviously hearing this from the female perspective. I'm not sure from the male perspective what the, you know what I mean? Because the Bumble, from what I'm aware of, the whole concept is that the women need to, like, once you match, the female identified person on the app messages first. That's the way it's, like, designed. But yeah. Remember my last two exes and a bunch of friends with benefits on there. Yeah. But I think too, I don't know, man. I just think it's like, if you go into it with no expectations, I think you can have a lot of fun, right? It's just like, let's just see what happens, you know? And why not? If not, even just to like have genuine cool conversations with people. If you can, you know, every once in a while you do find people that like are interesting. I met someone on there, on one of them, who was like getting a master's in astronomy, which was interesting. I've met like occupational therapists. I met some, you know, very interesting people. I had somebody after I, like, hung out with them. Thankfully, we didn't do too much. But after hanging out with them, I was just sitting there being like, this is not working. And then he, like, was quietly, and then one time, then looked over at me and was like, should I start doing roids? And I was like, why? He's like, I just want to get gains, you know, I want to get really big and fit. And I'm like, why don't you work out to do that? Isn't that what you're supposed to do? He's kind of like, yeah, but you know, and I was just like, what? So I was like, yeah, no, we are not hanging out anymore. That was a strange. Should I do roids? I'm like, no, you should work out normally. It's also a friend section where you match with people you just want to be friends with. Oh, that's nice. I like that. I know for a time when I was a bit like, when I was feeling pretty lonely and I wasn't, you know, wanting to make like friendships while I was out here, I did notice Bumble now has like a Bumble BFF option. So you can actually like match with friends. But I found that really weird because I was almost like, because it is like a profile picture based thing. And then they do also go over, like what they're into and all that kind of stuff. But it felt really weird to me to search for friends based on like pictures, because it's kind of like, okay, so I'm like judging how like attractive these friends are that I want to make. Like, you know what I mean? And so it felt a bit weird to me. And also to a lot of it was like, girls to go for brunch. I want to go for brunch with girls. And I'm like, I don't necessarily like, I love a brunch. But again, my whole shtick is I want to go hang out in the forest and look at cool mushrooms. Like, that's my vibe. So, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, but it is a weird thing where I'm kind of like, oh, look at these pictures of your friends. And I'm kind of like, yeah, I guess so. I guess you want, like, what sort of things do you look for in pictures of friends versus pictures of romantic partners? You know what I mean? I've been on there 3 days and had one match so far. That's nice. I'm glad they're really nice. You know what I mean? It's even just nice to like meet other nice people in the world. Just to like sort of restore your faith in humanity that there are like nice, genuine people out there, you know? Sorry, he even had to ask that. Yeah, honestly, I was like, listen, sir, what? Usually go based off their profile, but yeah, exactly. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. But no, definitely. I wonder too, because I think the other thing too is I wasn't quite sure, like, this sounds really weird, but I wasn't quite sure what my interests were in terms of like what I wanted to do with these particular friends. Now I know. Again, hiking and looking for cool mushrooms. But at the time I was like, I don't know. Aside from like, let's go for brunch. Like, I don't know. Luckily, I've like taken the time to, you know, foster some of the friendships that I've had here, and also just getting more like comfortable with the fact that, you know, people get busy, you don't have a chance to hang out with people all the time. And also, you know, streaming has helped. Obviously I get to hang out with all of you guys, and I think that really, I've talked about before how I find that really does help with the loneliness. And I do have, you know, I do feel a sense of connection to people and stuff because I get to come here and hang out with really cool people like you guys for a couple hours 3 times a week. So that's helped. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's really cool. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for your Tinder journey. And I hope you keep me updated. And I hope you meet really cool people. Because you're really cool. What sort of weird tonal stuff is Pretzel Rocks putting out right now? Not a fan of this. There we go. Let's fix that. Let's fix that. Ooh. But yeah, it's interesting. I do joke though, like, you know, how I'm a pleb with, yeah, well, you know, there are worse things. There are worse things to be. You know what I mean? You just have, you know, you are, what was it? How would you are an alt person alternative looking person? Not even really. Because I feel like piercings and tattoos now are not even really considered, like, alt. You know? There's not, like... There is, like, in certain aspects, and there's certain, like, I guess maybe the kinds of tattoos you get might consider such, but... I think you just have a lot of love to give. That's the way you need to reframe it. You are an individual. You're a big old softie with a lot of love to give. I'm piercing his tattoos, but I'm aromantic, so I don't get attached to that. I love that. I love that. You're like, the same but different. The same but very different. I like that. You're like, I don't get attached to shit. Okay, we're gonna go. I moved the hoop over a little bit, so I'm hoping that that will help with... That'll give me enough room to make the arm. Yeah. Yeah. See, you would be in, you know, in the 90s, 2000s rom-com space, you would be the bad boy with a heart of gold. You know what I mean? You would look intimidating and edgy and unapproachable, but you actually were a big softie. That would be your teen rom-com trope, you know? That's what it would be. That would be the teen rom-com trope. Do you ever think about that? I used to think about that all the time, which is, you know, maybe kind of lame and maybe an indication that, you know, every once in a while, right? You think about, like, okay, if there was, like, a movie, not about my life, but just if I were a character in a movie, which, like, stereotype would I be? You know what I mean? And I used to always think, like, growing up that I would probably be, like, the weird, quirky best friend who was, like, the side character to whoever was having, like, their big star moment. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I know that's changed now. I think I might be, like, just the random weird girl in the background now. But, like, totally cool with it, right? But you ever think about that? Where you're like, you know, if I was in the 2000s film, if I was in, like, this is more like in high school, right? Like, if you were in, like, one of those high school comedies, what would be your role? What would be your stereotypical role that you would be placed into? I always pictured myself as, like, the Janice Ian type, but I don't know if that's giving myself too much credit, you know? I don't think I was sassy enough. I think I thought I was sassy in my head, but I really wasn't, you know? Also, the age range on my profile amuses me sometimes because I can go for a mid-40s dad or I can go for... Yeah, honestly. The funny dude that loves the girl but doesn't get her in the end. Pretty in Pink style. Yeah, was his name Ducky? Is that who it was? You're Ducky? Yeah. See, I don't know. I feel like, you know, kudos to you, Nungdae, for being able to handle the mid-20s kid. Because I'm getting to the point now... Which is funny, because it's like, what? They're only, like, you know, 10 years younger than me. But that feels like a big 10. It's weird when it's like, you know, 10 years older than me doesn't feel as far-fetched, but 10 years younger than me just feels like a whole generation difference. Data 25. I like the way you think. That's so funny. I love that. You're like, listen, I could be your girlfriend or I could be your stepmom. You choose. Yeah. Yeah, I think the biggest thing too, though, is like, for me, it's a hang up. And, you know, I feel like as you get older, it becomes less of a thing. But for me, it is still this weird thing because I have a little brother. and my little brother is younger than me, only by like a year. We're born, like, I'm born 92, he's born 93, so there's not like a huge gap between us. So I don't know if I ever could have dated somebody that was younger than him, because I'm like, that's my little brother. And so for you to be littler than my little brother is like a cognitive dissonance my brain just can't come to terms with. So yeah, 1989. Yeah, that's the year Liam was born. I think that's the year Taylor Swift was born, right? Isn't that why she named her album 1989? You and T Swift were born in the same year. I prefer Liam. Over what? Over me? Rude. Or you mean over Taylor? My sis is 4 years younger than me, and I've gone with one of her before. Oh, that's fun. Was that fun, or was that weird? Was she upset, or was she like, that makes sense? Yeah, that's what it took me a minute. My brain took a second to reach that conclusion. Yeah. Yeah, no, he's pretty great. It is true. It is true. Yeah. Yeah. Always. Always. Yeah, Shadow's number one. Which he is in everyone's life, to be honest. She's like, you're both adults, so whatever. That's nice. That's a very healthy outlook to have. Absolutely. That is a very healthy outlook to have. I feel like a lot of people wouldn't, like, honestly, I feel like there are a lot of siblings that would not have that outlook. Yeah, I don't know what. I've not actually filled those ones in. That's fine though. Okay. We're moving. We're moving forward. We're making an arm. But yeah, I think it worked out. Not that it was a thing, but because I have 3 brothers-in-law, but I'm in the middle. So like Liam is 89, and his younger brother, like the next one, my brother-in-law, the first one, or I guess maybe the third one, because it goes oldest, then Liam, then this person, and then youngest. So the second middle child, if you will, is born in the same year as my brother. So I'm then the year older, and so if Liam had any weird hang-ups about dating people the same age of his brothers, then it I skirted that by a year, so it's fine. I don't know if he had any issues with that, but my sisters are very open with each other. Yeah. No, that's really good. Yeah, it's always interesting, like, learning about other people's, like, sibling dynamics and stuff like that. Because I've heard, like, I have friends who have sisters and things, and I feel like the dynamic is like a bit more strained, not in a way they don't talk to each other, but in a way that they're not like as open, or like they're like, it's more like a, don't be in my business sort of thing, like that sort of approach, as opposed to like a closeness in that respect. But I would hope, like, I feel like that's the ultimate, when you have like a sister or somebody that you can be really close to like that. Yes. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because I almost feel like I'm trying to think of who I would talk to about that kind of stuff. Yeah. Are they a lot older than you then? Because I've also heard that too, where it's sort of like if you have siblings that are almost like, because that kind of, in a lesser way, but the same thing kind of happened to my dad, kind of, because he's the youngest of 6 kids. And by the time he was like in, like, you know, conscious enough to like form relationships with his like brothers and sisters and stuff, a bunch of them had already moved out. So I think in terms of closeness, he was closest with a couple of them. Yeah. And then that's hard. Because I had something similar, you know, it's different because it's, but it was similar to me with my cousins. Because my cousins were like the youngest ones, again, because we were the offspring of the youngest child in that family of 6. You know, if anything, it was funny because my parents have talked about this. If anything, my cousin, like my oldest cousin, is actually closer in age to my parents than like they are to me, with that much of a difference. So if anything, they actually have like a lot in common and have like really nice conversations with my cousin and like my parents and stuff. And then I had a couple, there was like 2 or 3 out of, you know, the 25 cousins that I had that I felt like I had any sort of closeness. Oh, hello. How you doing? What's up? What's up? But yeah, but then one of them, you know, because it's funny because we have a second cousin. We joke he's kind of like a third cousin. Well, not a third. He's kind of like a first cousin because he's literally the only cousin. So my great aunt, who's my grandma's sister, had 1 child, and then that child went on to have 1 child, and so he has no like first cousins or anything like that. He's on the move, guys. He's swapped sides. There you are. We can move you over a little bit. There we go. Yeah, move over here now. But yeah, so we joke that he's like our, you know, he's an honorary first cousin because he came to all of our cousin events, even though, you know what I mean? So we're like, he's honorary first cousin. But he's very nice. Like, he's nice enough, but I think like we just didn't have a lot in common, even though he was the closest in my age in terms of like lifestyle and things. We weren't simpatico. And then, you know, I already didn't see them very often because we lived in different provinces. So I lived in Ontario and my entire extended family lived in Alberta. And so we would go and like visit my grandparents and like see people, but it was like very few and far between. And then, you know, I moved to the other side of the country, like the other side of the world, in a way. So then that you know, what already wasn't a strong relationship just got even more diluted. So, but you know, it is what it is. But I'm always of the mindset, and like my parents have been like, we've been this way like our whole lives, is I don't think just because people are blood related to you that they're family. I feel like, you know, family is who you choose, and you can choose your own family. I think it's awesome when you obviously are in a, you know, I think it's awesome when your blood family is your chosen family. You know, you have that with you, that's okay. But I think a lot of people, their blood family is not either accepting of them, or, you know, they just don't have a good relationship or whatever. And I am not, like, we always joke, like, Liam and I are of the people where I'm like, you know, if you don't get along with these people and they bring nothing to your life, there's no need for them to be in it. Like, I don't like the old school mentality of just because people are family, like blood related family, that you need to make an effort to see them, to keep them in your life, to keep them involved in like what's going on with you. Because if they're not, one, if they're mean to you and they make you feel bad about yourself, if they're not nice people. As you get to a certain age, you want to surround yourself with people that build you up and make you feel good about yourself. And so it's like, why would I go to a function to surround myself with people that make me feel like shit about myself, where I could go to a function, an event with people in my life that actually build me up and make me feel good about myself? You know? Make that make sense. Why would I purposely put myself in a shitty, sufferable situation for family's sake? Like, no. Family shouldn't want you to suffer. You know what I mean? Like, people who love you unconditionally shouldn't want you to suffer. So if being in a room with them makes you suffer, then don't be in the room with them. But yeah, I don't talk to any of my cousins. My mom's family, they're close at all. Yeah, exactly. It's just, you know, and yeah, maybe that's sad and maybe people don't like that that's the case. But then it's up to those individuals to want to do something in order to strengthen and, you know, support that relationship, right? And so if both parties are like, oh, it sucks we're not close, and you're like, okay, are either of us willing to put in time and effort in order to repair that and make that relationship close? Because if people aren't, then that's it then. Just accept that. You know what I mean? My dad's family's even more strange. Only ever met them. Yeah, at Christmas. Yeah, exactly. And that is sometimes what happens, right? You know, if people are of that sort of more traditional framework where you will see them at weddings. You know, some people still are of the mindset when you get married, you invite everyone, even if you're not particularly close to them. You invite, you know, your friends, but then you invite your parents' friends and friends of friends and family of friends and whatever, right? But that's, so that, and then yeah, the only other opportunity would be funerals. But yeah. Totally agree. I have family that are strangers to me. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's one of those things that it's kind of like, you know, this is just the circumstance. And because even too, right, like, not being funny, there's people that hi Dej, good afternoon sir, how's it going? Like, there are people, like, I have, like, my best friends, you know what I mean, like, my closest friends, people that I genuinely love, I don't see them very often because we get busy and we have, you know, life circumstances and shit that happens and responsibilities and whatever, right? And so if I'm spending, you know, if I'm not seeing the people I genuinely love more than like once a month, once every few months, not being funny, but like, I'm not then going to see people I don't like more frequently than that. You know what I mean? So... we're talking about how I don't believe that just because you're blood related to somebody, it makes them family. And I think that family is what you choose. And if people, yeah, and you shouldn't feel obligated to maintain relationships with blood relatives if they make you feel bad about yourself. So, but yeah. And then, you know, an understanding of if you know, if two people want to have that connection and want to put that in there, then that's great. But yeah, just about those sort of expectations and stuff like that. So, you know, just light stuff. We were talking about ghosts earlier. You missed the whole conversation about ghosts. We've talked about all sorts today. But yeah. I'm the same way. My love language is quality time with loved ones. Apparently none of my friends have this quality though. Oh no. Oof. Yeah. It is, honestly, it is hard. And like I said, it's been interesting, especially when like people have like, I don't know, it's even like friend groups or whatever, because we have like we have this group chat with all the sort of like girlies kind of in our friend group, and it'll be like, guys, we should really get together, like let's all hang out. And it'll be like, oh, I'm not free this weekend, I'm not free, and then we just go in these roundabout circles of trying to figure out a time that works to see everyone, and then we end up seeing no one. And it's like, okay, like maybe one or two of you are available or something like that, right? But no, it's hard. It's hard when you're an adult to maintain friendships. It's interesting too, because even too, like, I've talked to my parents about this, and they even said kind of like, you know, unfortunately, in a way, until your children are grown and they kind of have their own lives, or you like are retired and aren't like, you know, working and hustling all the time, you kind of don't have the bandwidth or the capacity to sort of nurture all those different relationships, right? Because you have your work you gotta foster, and you have your family you gotta foster, and you have like all these different bits and pieces, and so you kind of only have like room for a couple people, unless, you know, it's, again, weddings or funerals, it seems, or big milestone birthdays. It seems that seems to be the other one. The thing is, you can't get people to come together just for a random old weekend. If you say it's a 30th birthday, then people are suddenly free and they're there. You know what I mean? So you gotta like plan a big event that matters, and then people seem to, you know. Also, my Nan on my mom's side is I'm really close with, like a second mom, and I'm pretty sure her only grandchild that actually visits her regularly. Wow. Used to go every day after school. We'd drink tea and knit and watch TV. That's so sweet. I love that. That's like the most wholesome, wonderful thing ever, and I think that that's glorious. That's glorious. But yeah. No, it is hard. I think it sucks too, because I think sometimes people don't, yeah, it's like you don't kind of realize, I think sometimes, again, because people are so busy, they don't sort of realize, like, oh wow, like I've not seen so-and-so in so long. Like, I've really sort of neglected those parts of my life. It can be hard to get swept up in that. And then, like you said, you know, Jess, it can be a little bit discouraging when you're like, I'm recognizing that I'm missing, you know, my friendships. I'm gonna try to reach out and make those connections and see if I can meet up with these people and do stuff. But if they're still in the throes of all the shit happening with their life, you're kind of like, okay, fine then, I guess I'll see you sometime, you know? Like, and it's just like, what? Now what? Yeah. I will admit too, though, that I, you know, as somebody who does struggle, it's easy to book time off work to get it. Yeah, it is, exactly. Yeah, if there's like a specific sort of event, then it's easier because people are like, okay, I'm gonna book that thing. But yeah, the thing that I always used to joke about, because Liam and I would joke about it, because we're pretty, you know, like, we're quite homebodies, so we try to at least have one day of the weekend that's like free, or different things like that, right? Aside from that, yeah, it's true. It's waiting for the planets to align 100%. Because like I said, we're pretty flexible in terms of like, we don't do a lot of stuff. But then typically, right, the one time, like a last minute, my friends are like, the friends who are always busy are like, oh, by the way, we're going to do a thing this weekend if you're free. One weekend we're not free. I'm like, all the other times, it's just the way, you know, the planets were misaligned that day. But yeah, because I have a lot of friends where it's like they're just busy all the time, and so when you want to see them, you do have to schedule them like a month in advance, and then that becomes difficult for, you know, fellow anxious girlies, and people across all genders, anxious, you know, people, is that you don't know, like, there's a bit of a concern of booking something too far in advance because you don't know mentally where your head's gonna be at on those days. So it needs to be, it's such a pain in the ass, because it's like, it can't be too last minute, because I need to have enough time to mentally and potentially physically prepare for doing the thing, right? So you need to give me at least 48 hours notice if something is happening, right? Yeah, so you need to give me at least 48 hours notice. Do not let me know the night before that a thing is happening. That is le stress, you know, not a fan. I'm getting better at it, but it is a problem. So then there's that. And then it's like, okay, well, I'm not available for the next however many weeks. Okay, cool. I don't know if I'm going to be in a mental health slump during that point. So then you get anxious. It's like anticipatory anxiety, right? So it's like, and I struggle with that too. Again, getting better at that. Or it's like, shit, this thing is coming up. I don't know if I'm going to mentally be in a good headspace for it. What if I'm not? That's really scary. And then because your brain is like, well, I don't know if I'm going to be in a good headspace. Ergo, self-fulfilling prophecy, by the time the thing happens, you're not in a good headspace and you end up canceling. And then you don't end up seeing your friend for another 6 months because by the time you stars align, planet connection in order to, you know, line up your schedules again, it's not another like 6 weeks. So it's a struggle. It is. It's truly a struggle. I love it when guys message me asking if I'm free when the afternoon evening. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the dreaded, like, you up text, you free this evening? No, fuck off. I'm in bed. It's either you're not busy for months or you're booked up. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no middle ground, is there? Mm-hmm. I have to book stuff in advance so I can prep myself. Yeah, exactly. It has to be far enough in advance. Definitely. Yeah, by the time you decompress. Yeah. Oh, it used to be the worst when I was in university. Because there would be, my friends would like hit me up, because I was friends with a bunch of international students. And of course I lived about a 20-minute drive from the downtown, and it would have cost an arm and a leg to book a cab, right? So a lot of times I would end up DDing to like meet my friends up at the club for a little bit and then drive home afterwards. But it would be like at 11 o'clock at night, I would get a text being like, yo, come to the bar, this is gonna be really lit, whatever. And I'm like, dude, I'm in bed. Like, pajamas go on at 10 o'clock. If you want me to come out with you, you gotta let me know before the comfy clothes come on. Like, I'm sorry. And then it would be the thing too, right? Because of course I was living with my parents at the time and I just didn't want to like up and leave them. So I would like, and of course because I didn't have my own car. So I'd like, you know, 11 o'clock, if they managed to convince me to put on clothes to go out into the world, I would then like have to creep into my parents or my mom's half asleep being like, Mom, can I take the car and go to the club? Is that cool? I'm taking the car. And she'd be like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, be safe. Like, you know, it would just be such a mess. It was never a good thing. Yeah, I'd always like, yeah, exactly. I have an nail appointment booked up to July. Yeah, exactly. You gotta get that shit in. Yeah. Can't do anything before you need. Yeah, exactly. And I do that same thing where you count back. Another balancing act is time versus money. Sometimes, yes, that's the other thing. Yeah, when I'm working a lot. Yeah, exactly. So you're like, I would love to hang out with you, but I'm broke. And now I got money, but I'm so freaking busy, I don't have time to do the things. Exactly. Yeah, and then the other thing too, yeah, the needing the hours to prepare and get ready is also a thing, right? And I will sit there, because like, I don't know if it makes Liam laugh or if it just makes him roll his eyes. Because, like, I'll be sitting there and it'll be like, okay, tomorrow we need to go to a thing. Mr. Rhubarb Gaming, hello, stranger. Oh, it's new. Really? Look at you. Yes. Oh, wow. Mr. Rhubarb Gaming, wow. A new adventure. Hello, Nathan. Hi. How are you? And thank you for the new follow. I appreciate that very much. Long time no see. How have you been? So I was get out in the evening for a few hours if I can get kiddo. Yeah, to sleep at 9 p.m. As my mom will keep him. He's a night owl, so that's rare. That's funny. Yeah, exactly. You're like, I'm sorry. And then by the time he's down, you're like, I'm too tired for this shit. I don't want to go anywhere. Rhubarb. Okay. Mr. Rhubarb. I love that. I like rhubarb. I haven't had rhubarb in a long time. Especially during winter. Yeah. That, and it gets so dark so freaking early. I'm like, you want me to go outside? And I'm like, it's so dark. It's like midnight. And then you look and it's like 7 o'clock. It's like 7 p.m. And I'm like, no, the sun has gone to bed. We're not going out in the world anymore. That's why it's so nice that it's getting a bit lighter out later. But yeah, it's so annoying. Because I remember doing that where I had to go pick something up. And I was like, I'm not going to go outside after 6 p.m. And Liam's like, but at 6 p.m. you still have the whole evening. And I'm like, it's pitch black outside. That is the signal that we do not need to go outside anymore. Going past listen and wow, that's amazing. Check you out. That's incredible. Proud of you. But yeah, so then the thing too, right, is that, okay, so yeah, I had an early night that day. Yeah, exactly. And so what happens is, let's say, you know, tomorrow we have an event, right? And it's like, okay, when is the event? The event's at 2 p.m. Okay. The event's at 2 p.m. It's going to take an hour to get there. Okay. So it's going to take an hour to drive there. That means we need to leave probably around like 1. But by the time we get everything in the car, so we should aim to be leaving the house at like 1:45 because it's going to take an hour. It might take about 15 minutes for us to like corral our shit to get in the car, right? And it's like, okay, so that's the time we got to leave. And I need to shower. So I need to account, you know, for my entire shower routine, which could take, you know, anywhere like probably 45 minutes because, you know, that's just the way it is. And then you do that. And then you go, okay, cool, it's gonna take that long. And then to get ready. And so that means I need to wake up at this time and you do maths, right? We're like, I just become a freaking math time genius and I plot it. I'm like, okay, I gotta get up at this time because we gotta do this and gotta do that. And then this needs to happen. And then by the time that happens, then we leave the house and we get to the event and that's what's going on. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work planning and, you know, your day. But, you know, and that's why I don't leave the house very often. Because it's a whiteboard for it. Yeah, honestly. Yeah, sit there. It's like that meme. What's that girl? You know, the math meme where she's sitting there and all the numbers and stuff are flying through their head. And you're just like, okay, this is what's going on. Yeah, truly. Again, getting better at it. But I do need to know, especially because, like, if there's an expectation or a desire to be there at a certain time, I will wait till the last possible minute to leave. That's so funny. To be fair, when it's myself, and let's say it's an event, usually, you know, I'm getting better because, again, Liam doesn't like being late for things, and I respect that. And to be fair, I don't either. But if there's no official start date, I almost want to show up like halfway through the event. So I've done that before where it's like, you know, people are going to start popping in around 3. So I will leave the house at 3. If it's like a hangout, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, we're just hanging out. I'm like, okay, cool. When do you want me to come over? Anytime around this. It's like, okay, cool. So I will leave the house at the time you have suggested. So it'll be anything around there. Everything's time. Yeah, exactly. Ruining the timeline. Exactly. You're like, listen. The timeline in my brain has not accounted for this conversation right now. Go sit your ass down. I'm doing my makeup. It's going to take at least 15 minutes. Don't distract me. Yeah. You know, it's not, yeah, like I said, it's better, but it's, yeah. There's a balance. For sure. And also, because that's the thing too, because even too, like Liam already knows where he already has worked out. He's like, it takes you an hour to do anything. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. So if I know that we have to be somewhere at a certain time, I know it's going to take you at least an hour. So I need to tell you, like, okay, this is when this is happening. This is when we need to leave. Because if he turns around and goes, okay, we have 15 minutes to get ready and do the thing, like, I'm sure he sees my brain short circuit in real time. So he's like, no, if I'm letting you know we have somewhere to be, I'm going to tell you an hour in advance because that's how long it's going to take you to get your shit together. And I'm like, yes, thank you very much. You know me so well. My boss makes fun of me when I've got my schedule pulled up and literally everything is mapped out in time. Yeah, exactly. He knows now and asks patiently. I give him a time block I need. Exactly. That's it. He's learning. He can be taught. It's true. I'm like, if you want me here and things done, this is what it is. You're welcome that I'm putting in this much. I love it. You're like, this is the plan. If you need me to do this, then this is the operation that needs to happen to get to the point. Exactly. Yeah. It's so funny though, because I think I've sort of like shot myself in the foot or like, you know, made it, because I've gotten to the point now where I'm like, guys, and to be fair, it is a thing. Yeah, 12 years. Yeah, it's true, right? Yeah, exactly. I'm like, you've been together long enough that he's slowly figured out how this works. But yeah, it's not that bad, but I'm always a thing where I'm realizing, at least a lot of my family, to be fair, some of them though, like, I had to make a rule. So when I've planned, like, when we have events or parties at the house, I'm like, okay, guys, it starts at 3. Do not show up before 3. I will not be ready. I will not answer the door for you. I am busy doing shit. So do not show up until 3. But I think I've scared everyone because now people don't, like, if I say the event's at 3, do not show up before 3, they're rocking up at like 3:45. So then I'm like sitting there twiddling my thumbs for 45 minutes. But yeah, that was always the thing. People would show up early and I'd be like, what are you doing here? I am not, because the thing too is like, I think too, now it's better because they know, I'm like, okay, the event is at 3, so I am busy preparing for the event. So if you want to rock up before 3, that's fine, but you basically don't exist to me. I cannot entertain you until 3 when everything is done. Because I can't multitask. Brains already can't. If you think you can multitask, it's a lie. You can just switch back and forth between different tasks very quickly. You can't multitask for shit. Brains don't do that. That's not how brains work. So my brain can't do the switchy switch very quickly. So it's like if I am focused on the dinner and the food and the putting things in the oven, do not come into the kitchen and start talking to me about your day because I cannot do both. Let me put the things in the oven and set the timer and then I can be like, yo, hi, tell me about your day. Do not come in guns blazing when I'm in the middle of like broiling cheese. It's not gonna work. If I do that, I account for the early people. Yeah, so it starts at 3 and make sure I'm ready to go and prepare by 2:30, depending on what time it is. Because no one ever listens. Really? That would infuriate me. Don't you dare be showing up early. I love that, though. That's good that you've accounted for that, though. See, it's difficult because we have a thing where it's like there will be people who will show up early. And then again, there's people who show up 45 minutes later. So it's trying to allow for, especially when it comes to food temperatures, right? You're kind of like, okay, the early birds are going to show up. And then by the time the late people show up, the food is cold. So you got to like plan for that. But usually like there's certain people who don't mind like eating cold pizza, cold chicken nuggets. It's good. It's fine. And also microwaves exist. So if they really want it to be heated up, they can just like stick it in the microwave or something. But yeah. But no, I think they're learning. I don't know if I'm scaring them by being like, listen, these are my boundaries. But you know, it's good. You gotta know, you gotta be able to articulate what your needs are. And you gotta be able to articulate this is what's going on. People showing up 15 minutes before my baby shower and I was getting ready and decorating all morning. No. That would be the worst. Yeah, no. Especially if you're the one organizing and like decorating, right? You're like, I'm in the middle of decorating. Do not talk to me. Oh no. Yeah. It's like a family event. My fiance's family is always late. My family is always super early because we all have anxiety around being late. Yeah. That must be a weird thing, eh? We're kind of like, okay, this is... Yeah, Dej is like, I'm actually terrified. Yeah, you should be. I'm like, listen, these are the rules. These are my needs. I'm allowed, I would have to get there half an hour early, but I'd kill some time in the area. Yeah, exactly. It's that hour is being late. I feel that early. Yeah. Don't get me started at the end of the party when nobody offers. Yes. Yeah. I have to offer it. That's true. That's always a fine line as well, right? Because it's kind of like you either show up early or it's like, because you don't want to be late for the party. So you show up early, but you want to also stay around and help the host clean up. But then some people don't necessarily know when they want to leave. Or like, let's say the party's going to end around like 9 and then it's like 9:30 and people are still just like pretending the party's still going on. And it's like, okay, but we want to clean up or I want to help clean up. But sometimes you can't. I don't know. It's difficult. My mom gets anxiety about being late. Well, I'm late for everything. So it can be, oh yeah, that must suck. That's difficult. That is difficult, definitely. But yeah, no, it's navigating and managing expectations, but also knowing what your own limits are, right? And so it's like, you know, accepting, you have to, like, Lord grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. People be late, people be early all the goddamn time. But what you can control is how you can react to the situation. And so it might seem like people be shitty. Like, let's say they rock up early. I don't think it's unfounded to be like, okay, I'm really happy you're here, but you're early and I'm not done setting up. So can you just like go chill in the corner for a minute while I finish what I'm doing? You know, it's like, I will talk with you when I am done setting up for the thing, you know? But yeah, it's when you gotta learn. Sometimes it takes a while to know what your boundaries are, you know, to have that like self-awareness, to be like, why am I so anxious when this thing happens? And you go, oh, it's because X, Y, and Z. Now I know that. I can then articulate to people being like, by the way, it stresses me the F out when you do this thing. So if you want to continue to do that thing, that's fine, but this is how I'm going to react to the situation. So don't get offended if I ignore you for the first 15 minutes of you showing up to my house because you're here early. I've done that before. Somebody's rocked up and I've been like, listen, I cannot entertain you right now because I got stuff to do. But I do feel you, Glasses, when it comes to like appointments, especially if I don't know the parking situation. Parking is one of my anxieties. I get really stressed out about what the parking situation is going to be like at a certain place. I will Google map it and look for parking in the area. And if there is like a city car park that I have to pay money to, and it's like, you know, a couple blocks away, I will more likely park there because I know it's a guaranteed parking spot than trying to do like parallel parking road stuff that may be free but may or may not be available. No, don't have like my brain. No, cannot hand that shit. So yeah, that definitely, and then wanting to go there. Yeah. Always Google parking when I go somewhere. Absolutely. Yeah, honestly, truly, you're like, yeah. When your empathy and your sensitivity to the vibes and things going on in the room is like insane, and you're like, why is nobody catching this? Why is nobody picking up on this? You know, when there's like tension in the air and you can literally feel it in your body and you're like, does everyone not realize how freaking weird and awkward this is right now? It's fair to mention that some have to leave early for countless reasons. Yeah, exactly. Just making sure the party all was a minor miracle. If I attend a late house party, I'm probably good for the entire ride. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. For me, it's public transport, lots of it. That's the other thing too, right? Is it's like, okay, I remember doing that. We have to take public transport and you're like, okay, the appointment's at this time, so I can get this bus that will get me there like 2 minutes before the appointment, but you got to factor in walking time, and also what if there's a delay with the bus, so then you end up taking the earlier one and then you're there stupidly early and you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs like, what do I do with myself for the next 45 minutes? Yeah, definitely, especially depending on like how frequent and reliable your public transit is. It can absolutely be a minefield. When booking a hotel in Paris, I have to make sure I was getting one with private parking. I've been told Parisian drivers are mental, so there's no way I'm parking my car on the street. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't trust street parking in general. I feel like it would probably be similar to London as well. I'm sure they both are. Yeah, I would never want to have to drive in downtown London. People who do, I'm like, wow. What's that like? What's it like to have nerves of steel? They will move cars with theirs just to... No! Oh my god. That's like the giant motor car version of a dog that's like, oh, I see this little tiny spot in the sofa between the two humans. I'm just squeeze on in there, but car version. That's wild. That's nope. No, thank you. None of that, please. I'm getting a little bit peckish, so I think I need to go and get a little snacky for myself. That's what I did for college. I lived on the bus since yeah. Blinders doesn't drive. Beautiful for me. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're like, we don't want to play. We don't like those odds. We don't like those odds. That'll be nice.
This promises to be a most dire and stressful evening. I suggest we form a calming circle. I am calm!
Are you sensing a little bit of tension in my voice, Saul? Am I getting a little bit riled? Hey, am I getting a little bit heated about my My various concerns. I am calm. But yes. Need food, it's true. Yeah, still know about the that's really annoying. That is very annoying, Minte. Okay, let me... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, let's mark these off and then go get a little snack. I haven't heard that one yet. Yeah. Food will solve all. Yes. Peace be with you and also with you. Alright, let's pop this here. That's a fair point. That's part of why I was also one of the party moms. Yes, take the pressure off the house while others are attending. Goodness knows I benefit from making up. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure you have many wonderful traits. But yes, party mom is a nice one. Okay, let's BRB. I think we all do, yeah. Yay! Yes, we all have lovely, wonderful traits. We are all fabulous. Ooh! Let me just rearrange my pillow. Let's eat some granola. I have procured sustenance. Food energy! Again, if Nature Valley could hit me up with a sponsorship, the amount of granola bars I eat on stream, I could make millions! No, probably not, but they should. I wonder if Nature Valley does sponsorships. I'm not a party mom, because last B-Day we had cinema party. Yeah! I think that's the dream, Ning Day. Alright, I'm gonna do the last few stitches of this curve on the hand, and then hopefully then we can just get to the fill-in part. I'm surprised I go to a sit in the... Yeah. Oh, really? Do you bring knitting to parties, too? Has Kiddo ever been to, like, a soft play party? I think my nephews ended up going to a few of those where it's, like, one of those soft play things. Which, those weren't a thing when I was growing up. Like, I feel like soft play spaces weren't a thing. You obviously had, like, you know, your play places in, like, McDonald's and stuff like that. But in terms of, like, a dedicated place, like, and then you had, like, the YMCA would have, like, you know, like a gymnastics thing or something like that. But yeah, I feel like soft play wasn't a thing growing up. Which is a shame, because I would have loved to, like, run around and jump in foam pits as a child. Same place I went to as a kid. Oh, wow. Maybe it's just a UK thing. Maybe just Canada is, like, slack-lacking and there weren't any soft play areas. Yeah, but that was one of the things I found really interesting about here. So I was like, oh, there's, like, soft play adventure zones and stuff. I got in past the age limit when I was a 10. Oh, yeah. I like that. You're like, it pays to be little. It was so funny. My mom was short. Like, my mom's short, right? And my dad, or my grandpa, he always likes to do, like, a little bit of a wheeler deal, eh? And so he always tried to get my mom in to the cinema with a child's ticket when she was, like, 16. Being like, what? She's a child. He went to one last weekend. Sometimes I wish I could be that mom, but I gotta go all out for everything. Halfway through, I asked myself, what are you doing to yourself? Honestly, I think you're similar to me and we just love a good theme. You know what I mean? We just love a good themed party. We love a good event. We had a place called Airtime in Oshawa. Oh, that's really cool. Blow up castles and slides. Oh, I like that. Yeah. I know the feeling. Yeah. Yeah, you're like, what the hell am I undertaking now? Kiddo was so big though. He's had the average of a 9-year-old. Or really? Yeah. He's gonna have to. It just means that he's gonna get to ride all the cool roller coasters at theme parks earlier. Because he's gonna be tall enough. Hi Ray! Good morning, good morning! Yay! All your flosses arrived. Excellent, excellent. Oh, you're gonna get into so many crafting adventures. I can't wait to see them. I have to check. I told you guys how I bought a new cross-stitch pattern that I'm gonna make for my father-in-law. So I have to check to see if I have the floss. If not, I think it's just black and then whatever color I want to make the coffee cup. So I think I could probably, like, just pick a color. You know what I mean? I feel like I don't need to be. I really struggle, again, because I joke about this, where it's like, I feel like I'm a creative person, but my creativity has rigid boundaries to it, which is sort of counterintuitive. But I find I'm like, okay, these are the instructions. We follow the instructions. These are the types of colors we need for the thing. This is the type of color we need for the thing. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how my brain works. And so to, like, sit there and be like, no, you can deviate. You can just change the color. My brain is like, what? You mean not follow all the instructions to a T? What's that like? What's that like? You know, my brain, like, so I'm slowly being like, it's okay, brain. It's not the end of the world if you decide to change the color of your floss from, like, blue to red. What's the worst that could happen? Nothing. And it's like, wow. Oh, wow, really? I can just do that? Yeah, he wants to do cool treetop climbing course next week for half term. Wow. He hits the min age, but also the min height to go. That's amazing. That's why I struggle with coloring books. I need to be told what colors to go where. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, pick colors, and you're like, what colors? I don't know, man. That's funny. You sent me a picture. Is it on the Discord? I will check. I will check. Let me see. Let me see. I love it. I love it. Let me. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. There we go. Look at the floss stash. Look at it in all its glory. I love that. Are you gonna bobbinate them all? I don't know. Do you bobbinate, Ray? Do you bobbin, or do you keep them in their, like, long form? I love that though. All the floss. It's gonna be amazing. You bobbin, yeah. Excellent. But I actually picked up some more paper bobbins because I was running out. Getting it organized on the build today. Yay! Oh, I love that. Honestly, there's nothing more exciting than organizing my stash box, my, like, floss box. It's it's lame, but I love it. Yes, yeah. I'm also cross-stitching right now, doing my largest project. 665,334 stitches total. Jesus. What is it? What is it gonna be? Looking at us, I have so many rough pencil sketches of ideas that never panned out, to say nothing of story ideas written down in fake languages mapped out. That's amazing. But see, when you one day, someone's gonna find all those rough sketches and forgotten drafts and thrown away things, and then they're gonna take it and compile it and release it as one of those found footage, found scrap books and make millions. 47 times 2 plus 4 white. That's amazing. Love it. No. Supersized little cake shop. That's intricate as hell. Not only is it a bajillion stitches, but it's so many different colors. A 105 pages in regular format and 167 pages. Wow. You might need to put that in a will and pass it down to your offspring to finish it. This game looks hard as balls. Yeah, man. We like to do things on hard mode. White on white, yep. Sup, dude? Yeah, we're doing the things. Doing great. BRB, no problem glasses. We a meter wide on 25. Nope. That's wild. That's wild. What did you find, Ray? What's interesting? Juice Man, thank you very, very much for the follow. I appreciate it. Yeah. We like to craft on hard mode sometimes. I have enough patterns. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you ever think about that? You're like, oh yeah, when I draw up my will, who will I bequeath all of my cross-stitching patterns to? 9/10, which is my birthday, is the color that I used on the leaf, and it's just, oh, that's so funny. I love that. That's amazing. Cause yes, I've seen Kiddo do a couple cross stitches. That's true. So he can inherit all your patterns. He can, definitely. I think he would. Yeah, I don't actually know any other cross stitchers in my life. I think my grandma, she's done, I don't know if it was, I think it was cross stitch. I think my grandma, my dad's mom, she had done cross stitching before when she was not younger, but yeah. But yeah, nobody that I could bequeath yet. We're gonna do this. Yeah, oh, that's gonna be nice. Yeah, that's this week, isn't it? Yeah, has anyone got Easter plans? Does anybody have Easter hunts, and does the Easter bunny visit their house and things? I don't know. I don't think we're doing anything except eating cream eggs and mini eggs. No way, you're sewing. Your gangster shit is so hard. I was trash at home ec. Yeah, no, I'm cross-stitching right now. But yeah, I think I have hand sewed before. It wasn't the best, but you're trash at home ec. That's so funny. Sure does. Yep. Oh, I bet the Easter bunny goes hard at your house, Jess, and especially this year. Yeah, we dabble in some varying home ec things. I'm we've done a bit of baking on this channel as well, which is something I never thought would happen. But yeah, so we dabble in all the home economics, it seems. No, shut up. My mom's got her Easter gonks marching around already. Jess knows how I feel about gonks. How it's like fetch. Everyone, you know, they keep trying to make gonks happen. But, you know, in Jess's mom's house, gonks have been happening for a while now. You guys don't know, gonks are those gnomes that came out around Christmas time. They're like, I almost want to say they're like a Swedish thing. And then all of a sudden, everyone is like, oh, these cute little gnomey looking dudes are amazing. Let's now make them themed for every single event ever. You want some Halloween gonks? Give her. You want some Christmas gonks? Have at it. You want some Easter gonks? They just be gonking all over the place. And you're like, why? But why? You know? Yeah. I love it. The Easter Bunny needs to go to Plattsburgh here. A town where Walmart in the mall. Yep. Wow. I'm the only cross-stitch in the family. Really the only crafter. My mom diamond paints. Oh yeah, my grandma was a big crafter, but she passed away a couple years ago. Yeah. Aw. Did you like inherit your love of crafting from your grandmother, or did you sort of pick it up separately? She even has window clings. That's so funny. Oh no, they're expanding. Honestly, they're kind of like minions. They're like aesthetic minions. That's my theory. I'm only crafter in my family. My nan knits, but I do all the crafts. Yeah. At Universal Florida, they had a whole gong store. Really? Really? I'm like, what? What would... That's so funny. At Universal. That means... Oh, I think we already had this discussion. That means there's like Avenger gonks and stuff. I bet there are. I think I had the knack for it. She showed me how to sew, but the rest of it... Yeah. Yeah, honestly, YouTube's a lifesaver. The amount of times we did a little bit of a series here where we have a bunch of craft kits. We have some more, so we are going to be working on them. But we yeah, one of them was a sewing. No, it was a knitting one. So it was how to knit. And I knit Shadow a snood. It was fun. Everyone had a great time. But I didn't know what the hell was going on. So yeah, we found somebody, I forget what her name was, but she taught us how via the YouTubes. We relied on her to help figure out what the hell we were doing. He said, oh wow, oh that'll be, I don't know, is that going to be nice for Easter to be on your late mom's birthday, or will that be a bit of a painful celebration? You know what I mean? Because I think if anything, that can sometimes be like a nice thing, like, oh, like we get to sort of celebrate her life. Or is that going to be like a bit more of a painful, you know what I mean, thing? No, it's awesome. Oh, that's good. That's good. I like that then. I'm very happy for that. That's nice the way that falls then. So then you get to have a little celebration. Get to have time off to like honor her, as well as, you know, give your little one some sweet treats. Now that I think about it, I'm like, there must be. See, I could be that person. I always joke how, you know, I didn't intend to become one of those obnoxious dog moms, but I am. Maybe we do an Easter hunt for you. To be fair, he's getting better at when we hide treats around the house. I told you how he was like, we would hide them like on the sofa, and we used to stick them like under the blankets and stuff, and he would just sniff and walk past them for like a good 2-3 minutes, and then we'd have to sit there and like show him where they are and like lift up the blanket and stuff. But he's getting a bit better. His nose is being trained. So I think, you know, basically we kind of already do like low-key Easter egg hunts with him, but it's just like treat-o hunt. So that's kind of, yeah. So we already kind of do that. We already go on little treat hunts. She's getting Reese's and fruit snacks. I love that. I love that. I would want that too, actually. I would like that. There's the same place that I went last weekend to get my natural honey, the maker like producers market in our neighborhood. They're having an Easter one tomorrow, and I think the Easter Bunny's making an appearance, and Jack Sparrow's making an appearance. You can like get your picture taken with him. That seems like a weird stretch. But he's gonna be there too, apparently. And I think there's gonna be an Easter egg hunt as well. But yeah, pickled eggs and sausage. Yeah. You didn't even notice. Yeah, he's hanging out. Maybe some pickled eggs and sausage. Yeah, that's funny. It's funny too because I feel like my nephew was kind of the same way. Not so anymore, but when he was really young, he actually quite enjoyed like really strong flavors. So she's 2 and she likes that stuff. Now I don't even like that stuff. That's really funny. I wonder if that'll. My brother loved pickled eggs. You could pick them up in the jar in like the section where you pick up the sausages and things like that. We used to always have pickled eggs in the house. But yeah, no, he hiding. Aren't you? He's asleep. Yeah, you sleep. Maybe he'll go belly up later. Yum, pickled eggs. Yeah, honestly, they work. My brother was obsessed. It was pickled eggs and pizza pockets. And my brother used to have, I don't know if he still does. To be fair, he probably does unless he's trying to be a little bit better about it. My mother-in-law uses vinegar to make more. Yeah, I've never like attempted to pickle pickle anything before, which is good because I love pickles. I love a good pickled thing. I've already waxed poetic about my gripe about trying to find dill pickled flavored things here to find like a good dill pickle. I think I've finally figured it out. But yeah, dill pickle flavored things are like the best, but they're not really a thing here. Kiddo doesn't even like pickles in his McDonald's burger. Yeah. I feel like pickles are quite a hotly contested food. It is funny because I feel like especially in Canada or in like, I don't know if it's like in Northern Ontario. I assume it's just a Canadian thing. Maybe it's just an Ontario thing. But like, you know how you have different pub foods or like different like kind of bougie restaurant foods that you would go and get? Deep fried pickles is a huge thing at restaurants in Canada. I don't think I've ever seen like a deep fried pickle here. Deep fried halloumi. That's the one thing I like about here, except for the deep fried because that's gluten. But like, I love that restaurants here, it's like, oh, you want grilled halloumi? You just want like grilled bits of cheese as an appetizer? Yes, please. Yes, please. Obviously. You stole them. Probably. And mushroom caps. Yeah, exactly. Deep fried mushroom caps and deep fried pickles are a huge thing. I'm trying to think what like they're, yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a deep fried pickle on a menu. Or a mushroom cap, I don't think. But yeah, I'm not a fan, but my sis loves them. Had to help her open a pickle jar the other week. Yeah, that was always the joke. I always said, I'm like, you know, I don't necessarily want to be like weightlifter super strong. I just want to be strong enough to open my own pickle jars. That's the baseline. As long as I can open my own jars, I'm doing okay. That's the standard. That's the expectation. That's the goal. Okay, let's keep her going. To be fair, I think there's just like a lot less, well, I don't know. Because they deep fry a lot of stuff here, but a lot of it, I guess, is like, you know, fish. Fish and chips is like a bigger thing. And then like, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, mushroom caps are nice. But yeah, deep fried pickles. I guess I've not really been to like a place that would sell. No, I think I have, because it's like I feel like you would get deep fried pickles at the same place you would buy like chicken wings and stuff at a restaurant. But I don't think so. Which I feel like, though, I genuinely feel like deep fried pickles would be an excellent pub food. But it's just not a thing. All right, I'm determined. Well, I was gonna say to finish this arm. I don't know if we'll finish it, but we'll finish the curve of the arm, and then we might just like fill it in later. But we're getting there. We're getting there. We almost have, you know, a quarter of a Phantasma. To be fair, there actually is one. I should check to see if the menu is on there. There is in London. There is a pub or a bar, I guess. Let me Google it. It's called the Maple Leaf. You got new nails pics in Discord. Let me see. Let me see. But yeah, it's so funny because I don't wonder if it's still in there. Oh, Sakura blooms. That makes sense. That makes sense. Guys, look at these claws. Look at these claws. They're the most beautiful. They're beautiful. I love them. They just are so reminiscent of springtime. We love them. There's an underground arcade in Camden in London that has freaking roller coaster inside going around the arcade. Really? In Camden? I didn't know that. I know the West Edmonton Mall in Alberta has one of those. I didn't know in Camden, because Camden's cool. I enjoy Camden. The Camden markets and things are really nice. But yes, beauty. Beautiful, beautiful. Love them. Love them. But yeah, so let me look this up. I want to see. So the best thing, so I've been there like once. So it's called the Maple Leaf. And it's a bar in London. And in the center of the bar is a giant taxidermied black bear. Just in the middle of the pub. And so I think I was visiting, oh, it's actually a Green King. Oh, that's interesting. So Green King is like a larger sort of, whatchamacallit. Oh, they actually have cheese curds. Because when I went there, because they have poutine, but they didn't have cheese curds. And I was like, guys, you can't have poutine with shredded cheese. It's just not the way. Oh, you're not going to show me any photos. That's rude. Yeah, it's a Canadian-themed pub with sports viewing in Covent Garden. No, I want photos. Maple Leaf Pub in London. Images. I want to see if they have a picture of the bear in there. I can't see it, but they might have changed it. Like, it looks like it has a different face than it used to. But yeah, you can see that. Actually, it might be easier to show you this here. But yeah, so this is the Maple Leaf in Covent Garden. And it has, it's like a sports bar, but has like, I think it actually serves like Canada Dry and stuff. Coors, yeah, so you got your Coors Light. Yeah, what's the menu? Let's look at the menu here, guys. Ribs. No, this seems wrong. Ontario-style salad. Lettuce, crispy bacon, chicken breast, tangy blue cheese, boiled egg, croutons. I don't know. Don't know how I feel about that. This is the poutine. The classic poutine, British poutine. Okay, so they got a whole ass thing of poutine. Oh, I realize you guys can't see what's going on. There we go. But yeah, burgers, grills, Toronto chicken. I don't know what that means. What does that even mean? But yeah, let me see. Yeah. Where's the bear? Let me find it. Oh, there's this bear. This is different. I don't remember him being in the window. This is different. He didn't look like this when I saw him. Maybe they obviously dressed him up for like hockey season. Okay. Bear. Let me just Google it. Bear. There we go. Oh, it's just that photo of him. But yeah, so there is. But it's funny. But speaking of hockey season and stuff like that, that's always the thing that's really funny about here too. So the Brits refer to hockey as ice hockey. Whereas if they're talking about hockey, like a hockey game or a hockey team, they're talking about field hockey. That's the default. So you have to preface the like ground at which the hockey is being played. So it's ice hockey or hockey, which is field hockey. Whereas field hockey doesn't even enter my brain when I think about hockey. I'm like, it's ice hockey always. That is the default hockey. But yeah, so I thought that was really funny. Because I was talking to the massage therapist that I went to the other day, and I was like, oh, like before you worked here, where did you work? And he said, oh, I worked, you know, on a football team. Like I was like sort of like the sports massage person or whatever. And I was like, oh yeah. And he says, oh yeah, I've also like worked on other sports. So he said, oh yeah, women's hockey team. And I was like, oh. And I said, oh, do you mean field hockey? And he's like, yeah. Like, that's not hockey. That's not hockey. But yeah. So I think that's really funny how the default is like, oh, I'm talking about hockey. I mean field hockey. I'm like, that's weird. That is incorrect. There is, well, ice hockey. What's football called there? Yeah, light brown arm. No, it's called American football. So you have football, and then you have American football. Yeah. So you have American football and ice hockey. Which, I guess that makes sense. I don't actually know. I assume it was in, like, that one was invented in, the US. I don't actually know where football was invented. Like, of the American, like, of the 222 hut variety, of the Super Bowl variety. I don't know where that was invented. But yes, it is referred to as American football. I was trying to ball its name, yeah. Yeah, exactly. But no, and that's, to be fair, and I respect the logic, because when I talk to Brits about it, they're like, there's nothing, like, American football doesn't, you only kick it when you're doing field goals. The majority of football, American football, you're holding the ball and running it. You're not using your foot, ergo football. Whereas in soccer, aka football, it is literally you kick the ball with your foot. So I agree with them that I think football, the way we know it, it's kind of dumb that that's the name. You know what I mean? Here's the arcade. Ooh, Toy Story vibes. Oh, this is in Camden? Interesting. Brand new Babylon Park. Indoor amusement park. Where is this? That's so interesting. Let's see. You know, I'm trying to think where does this look like it's from? Okay, let's pull this up. Let's pull this up. Oh, hello. Okay, let's see. You know what it is? I wonder if this is where, so there used to be, I don't know if it's still there now. We do have Smarties. Yeah, there do have chocolate Smarties. Yeah, no problem, Ray. Yeah, of course you can ask a question. Oh, I just realized now we're not watching the thing. No, you know what it is? I know where this is because it used to be this like raver clothing store called Cyberdog that used to be in this space. And I used to think it was so cool because they had outfits there that reminded me of Xenon Girl of the 21st Century. Yeah, it's 100% in this space. So that leads me to believe that Cyberdog doesn't exist anymore. This is wild and amazing, but now I'm also sad. Now I'm also sad. Oh, is it? Okay, let me see. Yeah, Cyberdog is still open. Well, that's weird then, because it looks like that's where that is. Okay. But yes, yeah, we do have chocolate Smarties. I didn't think so. I was like, oh, they don't have Smarties, but they do, but they don't come in a square package. They come in like a hexagonal little package, which is interesting. My cousin wants one of those leaves and she wants the green with 3. Okay. Green with yellow. I don't know, actually. I think either would work. Yeah, I think either would work, because if you're doing the outline, obviously black pops more, but if you want to keep the green, I think that would still work with both of those. Yeah, I think either would look nice. Because where's the other one? Yeah, so you did it in black. I really like the black, actually. So you've posted that before, and I like the black with that. But yeah, I think it's up to you. Cyberdog is still open. Yeah. Okay. We have some Googling we need to do. Where did I put my phone? Shadow. Oh, there it is. Okay. Should I color in the heart? Is the heart that you want to be yellow? You want the, like, what does she want to be yellow? Or does she want, like, multicolored? Okay. So first we gotta Google. I gotta show you what the Smarties look like, Jess. So, Smarties. This is like the default of what they look like. Oh, it's down the road from Cyberdog. Okay. So see, this is what the Smarties come in. So instead of like a flat pack box, they come in like this hexagonal box. Interesting. So that's like their default, is this kind of container. The heart yellow. Yeah, I think so. I think that would look cute. And then we gotta Google Cyberdog. Cyberdog Camden. Okay. Whew. Phew. It's still open. Excellent. Not that I've been there in years. But it honestly, it's such a wild trip though to go in there. Here, let's go back to this. I like that they have this about. So like this is what you're greeted with. It's honestly like the most wacky store ever, and I love it, even though, you know, I've never been to a rave, don't have any desire to be in a rave, but I just think it looks so cool. Hi Megan! Hello, how are you doing? How are things? But yeah, so let me see if I can find. I was into it. Oh, you do? Yeah, I could see this being your vibe for sure. They have really cute stuff. Again, some of it's like very sort of futuristic, which kind of is like the rave vibes or whatever, but let me see if I can find. Okay, I want to see if I can find. So this, honestly, I was convinced in my brain. Yeah, the adult floor, yeah. I was convinced in my brain that if I ever had a birthday party, like if I was joking, like back in the day, if I had a 30th birthday, I had COVID for my 30th, so it wouldn't have happened. But if I ever had like a big 30th birthday party, I'd want it to be themed because I freaking love a theme. And it would have been like DCOM, like 2000s Disney Channel vibes. And I would dress up like Xenon, girl of the 21st century. And I knew I would get the dress here. So let me see if I can find it. We're going completely off topic right now, but I swear to you, I think this was kind of it. It's very short though. But yeah, because they have these like tubes in them that give them this like 3D vibe that if you got the correct color combo, it would be perfect. Okay, let me see. Working on stuff. Yay, co-working. Honestly, I love it. Okay, so it's very short. So this is like adult Xenon vibes, but you can tell where I'm coming from. Let me see if I can zoom. Come on, are you gonna get bigger? Oh, not that big. That's too big. Okay. Ah! Web page not working. Don't crash, don't crash, don't crash. Okay. Can you? Nope. Too much. But anyway, see, look. Does this not? So if this was in like black or like a blue, or no, pink, and then these little balls were silver, and obviously the dress was lower and not as short, but like, can you see the vibe that I'm talking about? It's giving low-key Xenon vibes in my brain. It's the tubes, the 3D tubage that it's giving. Let me see if I can find a better one. But yeah, this store is wild. This is sort of like the same thing, but obviously not. But it's the tube at the bottom, which is very interesting to me. But yeah, it's such a fun, funky store. Like, look at this. Like, this to me looks like something out of Fifth Element. Like, this is Fifth Element, like Lilu vibes. You know what I mean? We're getting Lilu Fifth Element vibes. Working on a D&D miniature. Amazing! How are you working? Are you painting it now, or is it still printing? Hello, Mr. Dragonlord. How are you doing? I want to see if I can find a better one. But still, it's the vibes. But yeah, it's a very interesting store. Highly recommend. It's a wild trip, and so I'm glad it still exists. It's painted already. Oh, amazing! Amazing. Okay. Let me mark down what we've done. Imagine going to the store. Well, oh yeah, no, that would be too much. No, I feel like your brain would not. To be fair, I can't spend too long in that store because of all the flashing lights and the like dooch music. It definitely like gives me a headache if I'm in there for too long. I love it. I think it's very cool, but it hurts my brain after a minute. So I can't be in there for too long. But yeah. Very fun. All right, gosh, guys, time flies when we're having fun. We got like 4 minutes. 4 minutes to 4 minutes. You guys know what I'm talking about? If you don't, then I feel bad for you because that song is a bop. Madonna, Timbaland, Justin, 4 minutes to save the world. Have you been in where the live dancers are up to? No, I've not. I don't think so. That would be wild though. Like if you were like a go-go dancer, because I have a friend I went to high school with who is like who's a burlesque dancer and like go-go dancer and stuff. And so she went on tour with a band as like a go-go dancer, and she's like done that in bars and stuff. But could you imagine like, oh, you've booked a go-go dancing gig, but it's in a store? That would just be like really interesting. You know what I mean? Like it would be such a different, like you wouldn't expect that. You're like, oh, I didn't expect I would be go-going in a retail store, but here I am. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, let's do this. 1, 2. Ooh. No. Okay, let's do a few more. And then yeah, so next week we'll be back here. We do Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Thursday I have an appointment at 5:30, so that's like in the middle of stream time. So the option is I could stream like earlier than I normally do, or just stream for like an hour on Thursday. I'm not sure about that yet. It might be that I just don't stream on Thursday just to make things easier for everyone. But yeah, Tuesday and Friday for sure next week. We have our miniature kit that we're working on, our little dark castle secret garden miniature series by Row Life. We started that the other day when I went to make body butter and realized I needed a double boiler. It happens. Oh, are you on the move, sir? Hello. You gonna turn around? Oh, shake it off. Hello. Up to you too. Ah, he's just turning around. Such a stink just to turn around, eh? But yeah, so we have that going on, and then obviously we're still working on this. I do need to start my father-in-law's birthday present because his birthday is in April, and it's going to be April next week. April tomorrow. It's April tomorrow, you guys. Honestly, it's wild. Time is an illusion. Nothing is real. it's just going by so fast. The years stop coming and they don't stop coming. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're officially 5 away from 300. My goal was to try to get to there before the end of March to 300. But obviously, guys, this is the last day of March, so it doesn't think it's going to happen this month. But we came pretty ding-dang close. So I feel like it is a reasonable thing to suspect that we can get there by the end of April, which is going to be very exciting. But yeah. Okay, so here we go. We made some progress. I know it doesn't seem like much, but you know, in the grand scheme of cross stitch, it was a lot. Yeah, honestly, time is going too fast. It is. It's passing by so quickly, but you know, time flies when you're having fun. You should raid Art and Jest. Okay, excellent. I will do that. Thank you very much for the suggestion. Here, let's scooch around so I can more easily access the keyboard. Hello. Hi. Oh, get these slippers out of the way. Okay. Art in Jest. Let's go do that. Let's queue up this. Queue up here. And then, yeah, I think we're just going to be doing some crafting next week. We might, again, depending on what I want to do in terms of stream situation. Yeah. Aw, amazing. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Art in Jest. Let's go see what they're up to. Oh, she's wearing a onesie. We already love it. We already love it. Okay. I'm excited for this. Let's provide the raid message. Thank you guys so much for hanging out today. I feel like we talked about a lot. We like got really philosophical, we got really deep, and then we got really silly. I feel like we talked about anything and everything. Fridays seem to be a day where we just like shoot the shit, and it's excellent, and I love it so much. And I appreciate all you guys for coming to hang out with me. Art in Jest. Excellent, excellent. But yeah, I think we'll be doing hella crafting next week. And yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. And I hope you have an amazing weekend too, Meg. I love you guys so much. Thanks for stopping by. Let's go over and make a new friend. I love making new friends. But I also like hanging out with all of these friends as well. So, let's go and raid out. Bye!